Chapter 287. Of course. It's the first time we're working together, so I naturally have to show sufficient sincerity. Besides that, I've also prepared the Dragon Soul incense that Sect Master asked me to prepare for you. A box of Dragon Soul incense appeared in Lai Wuyang's hand as he spoke. Thank you, Sect Master Zhu. Xinghui, although the Hunyuan Heaven Sect attaches great importance to you, and has even given you the position of Supreme Elder, there are still over a dozen Supreme Elders in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect who are on equal footing with you. Moreover, there are even several ancestors above you who can decide everything in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. If you stay in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, you'll have to rely on others. Why don't you just join my Jinwu religion? If you can join my Jinwu religion, then once I become the sect master of the Jinwu religion, you can even become the sovereign sect master of my Jinwu religion by relying on this fake relationship between us. At that time, you'll have a sacred sect in your hands, and you'll become the most powerful cultivator in the entire Eastern Wasteland. You'll have all sorts of resources, cultivation techniques, and everything else you need. Lai Wuyang still didn't forget to persuade Xinghui to join the Jinwu religion at this moment. There's no need for that. I'm clearly aware of how great my ability is. The position of the sovereign sect master of the Jinwu religion isn't something that I can hold with my current ability. It's better for me to stay quietly in the Life Alliance and be the Alliance Master and Hall Master of the Ocean Suppression Hall. As Xinghui spoke, he didn't continue on this topic with Lai Wuyang and asked instead, "We mentioned earlier that your Jinwu religion seems to want to purchase the Sun Crystal from me. May I know how your discussions have gone? I was just about to talk to you about this." Lai Wuyang's expression immediately turned serious. Our Jinwu religion's Grand Elders have more or less prepared some Dao-carrying items, but there aren't many of them. They are also interested in purchasing them, and hope that Elder Xinghui can give our Jinwu religion an affordable price on account of our Jinwu religion's current worrying situation. It's not that I can't give you an affordable price. However, strictly speaking, the Great Sun Crystal is still an 8th level heavenly treasure. It's not cheap. Your Jinwu religion can't let me suffer too much. How about this one Great Sun Crystal for 5 Dao runes? This is the best price I can give you. 5 Dao rhymes. Lai Wuyang instantly revealed a trace of a bitter expression when he heard this. How many Dao runes can the Grand Elders of our Jinwu religion possess in all these years be added together? If it's 5 Dao runes for 1 Sun Crystal, then even if we're able to purchase some, it would be like trying to put out a burning cart with a cup of water at that time, and it wouldn't be of any use to the growth of our entire Jinwu religion's strength. Why don't Prince Xinghui sell it to our Jinwu religion at the price of 1 Dao rune? Our Jinwu religion would definitely be endlessly grateful. 1 Dao rune? That's too low. Your Jinwu religion is currently facing a calamity of annihilation. What you need to do now is to gather as many resources as possible and convert these resources into your own strength. No matter how good the Dao rune is, if no one can take out something that satisfies you in exchange for it, it won't be of any use. How about this? The two of us will announce to the outside world that we are in a relationship. In order to let the Jinwu religion sect leader and the various elders understand my sincerity towards your Jinwu religion, I can lower the price by 1 Dao rune. I'll sell it to your Jinwu religion at the price of 4 Dao runes for 1 Sun Crystal. You have to know, lowering the price by 1 Dao rune is equivalent to me losing a 5th level divine weapon. What kind of person is Grand Elder Xinghui? What kind of status do you have? You spent so much of your wealth in the Life Alliance. Back then, you took out over 10 5th level divine weapons in one go. Not only 5th level divine weapons, you even had 6th level divine weapons. Why would you care about losing a mere 5th level divine weapon? However, Grand Elder Xinghui's words do make some sense. I can't let Grand Elder Xinghui lose too much. Thus, my Jinwu religion is willing to take a step back and purchase the Sun Crystals from Grand Elder Xinghui at the price of 2 Dao runes for 1 Sun Crystal. Lai Wuyang said. This matter involved a profit of over 10 Dao runes. Both sides were unwilling to take a step back. They went back and forth, opposing each other with equal harshness. Just like that, They conversed for close to 2 hours. Finally, the two of them agreed on a price. They would purchase the sun crystals from Xing Hui at the price of 3 Dao runes for 1 sun crystal. How many sun crystals do you intend to purchase? It's not how many sun crystals we intend to purchase, but the resources we have on hand is only enough for us to purchase that many sun crystals. Lai Wuyang looked at Xing Hui with some resentment. Then he took out many Dao runes from his personal space. I've collected a total of 60 Dao runes from our Jin Wu religion's elders and grand elders. In total, I can only purchase 20 sun crystals. 20 sun crystals, a total of 60 Dao runes. And the sun crystals he purchased from Galaxy Commerce could be purchased with 1 Dao rune. In other words, the cost of these 20 sun crystals was only 2 Dao runes, but the final profit was 58 Dao runes. This kind of profit could not be described as just a huge profit. Grand Elder Xing Hui. In fact, if you're willing to lower the price to 10 Dao runes for 4 sun crystals, I have confidence in pushing our total transaction to 80 Dao runes this time. Lai Wuyang watched as Xing Hui nimbly took out 20 sun crystals. His eyes flashed as he spoke again. 80 Dao runes. Xing Hui looked at Lai Wuyang. 80 Dao runes, he needed to pay 32 sun crystals. The cost was 2 Dao runes, but he gained a few dozen Dao runes for no reason. Saintess Lai Wuyang is a good schemer. I do have a lot of sun crystals in my hands. If I don't borrow your hands to sell them, I won't be able to sell them. 10 Dao runes for 4 sun crystals, then 10 Dao runes for 4 sun crystals. Grand Elder Xing Hui is straightforward. Our Jin Wu religion will always treat you as an ally. As Lai Wuyang spoke, he once again took out many Dao runes from his personal space and pushed them all in front of Xing Hui. Adding to the previous one, there were exactly 80 Dao runes. The Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion was about to open. To obtain 80 Dao runes before the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion opened, Xing Hui's face revealed a trace of a smile. Very good. This is a very happy transaction. Xing Hui handed the sun crystals to Lai Wuyang. At the same time, he placed the 80 Dao runes into his personal space. The sun crystals were actually more valuable than the sun crystals. However, it was different from the sun crystals. If one wanted to absorb the energy within the sun crystals, it needed to be done step by step. If one wanted to completely refine the energy within it, it would probably take 3 to 4 years. Once it was refined, the benefits it would bring were obvious. If an early-stage prominent divine stage cultivator could refine 10 sun crystals, it wouldn't be difficult for their cultivation to break through to the peak of the prominent divine stage. These 32 sun crystals would definitely be able to increase the strength of the Golden Crow sect by quite a bit. It was even possible for their sect to give birth to a saint stage expert. Does Grand Elder Xing Hui have any more sun crystals? Xing Hui looked at Xing Hui swiftly handing over all the sun crystals and asked curiously. I plan to keep the rest for my own cultivation, Xing Hui said noncommittally. Grand Elder Xing Hui has misunderstood my meaning. Actually, if Grand Elder Xing Hui needs it, I can use the channels our Jin Wu religion has and help you continue to collect Dao runes. Then I'll buy it from you at the price of 10 Dao runes and 4 sun crystals. However, I'll need to collect some intermediate fees. As for how much I collect, that will depend on my own ability. What does Grand Elder Xing Hui think? Xing Hui looked at Lai Wuyang. His heart was moved. It had to be said that Lai Wuyang's brain worked very quickly. She actually thought of using his channels to make a profit for herself in such a short time. However, currently, Xing Hui's need for Dao runes was rather urgent. Adding that the cost of sun crystals wasn't high to him, he didn't reject it and directly agreed. I can give you the right to sell 4 sun crystals for 10 Dao runes. When you've accumulated enough Dao runes, then we can trade. Alright, then it's settled. When I've accumulated enough Dao runes, then I'll contact you in the Primal Chaos Temple. Xing Hui nodded. This matter has been settled. I'll take my leave. Please. Xing Hui immediately left Lai Wuyang's courtyard. Grand Elder Xing Hui is leaving? Outside the door, the Spirit Chi Uniting Stage servant girl smiled meaningfully at Xing Hui. Xing Hui naturally understood the meaning behind her smile and didn't mind. The future is long. Then, I'll respectfully welcome Grand Elder Tsing Hui's next visit. Tsing Hui nodded. He summoned the Saint-winged dragonhawk and quickly soared into the sky. He headed towards the ocean-suppressing palace. The Saint-winged dragonhawk's flying speed wasn't considered slow. The key was that it had a stability that sword kinesis flight couldn't compare to. As long as a part of his mind was used to control it, the Saint-winged dragonhawk would be able to maintain a constant speed. Even though the Jinwu religion was over 60,000 kilometers away from Moon Lake Island, after 6 days, Tsing Hui still easily crossed the distance between the two. After returning to the Life Moon Alliance, Tsing Hui directly went to his palace to properly organize the gains from this trip to the Jinwu religion. He'd spent 14 days to head to the Suncrow sect to provide assistance this time, and he hadn't just obtained the Grand Sun Golden Crow technique, he'd even obtained 80 Dao auras from Lai Wuyang. It had practically completely replenished the Dao auras that he'd squandered from purchasing Soul Core energy earlier, and he could be said to have benefited greatly. After looking at the large number of Dao runes in his personal space, Tsing Hui focused his mind on the Primal Chaos Temple and scanned his current accumulation. In another 22 days, the Primal Chaos level will reach level 30. Once I reach level 30, not only will I be able to open the Primal Chaos Temple, but I'll also be able to use the extremely mysterious teleportation technique. A technique that can teleport me to any place I've been to before. Thinking of the various magical effects of the teleportation technique, Tsing Hui was a little excited. The plan of cultivating to shatter the vacuum in 10 years had undoubtedly been completely destroyed. According to his current cultivation progress, if he wanted to reach the level of Dong Qian, let alone 10 years, even if he was given another 20 or 30 years, he would not be able to step into that divine domain. Then, all his hopes of returning to Earth were pinned on the teleportation technique of level 30. Whether he could return to Earth, and whether he could fulfill the promise he had made to senior sister Jiang Ningji, would depend on 22 days later. Tsing Hui took a deep breath, suppressed the churning thoughts in his heart, and forced himself to calm down. 22 days. 22 days left. In these 22 days, he could not do nothing. He had already thoroughly comprehended the 5th level of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and now he had the 6th level in his mind. In addition, he had a lot of Great Sun Essence, Great Sun Crystals, and other things that he had bought from the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. It was time to upgrade the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, that was only at the peak of the 4th level. Chapter 288. Wonder Island. One of the islands at the forefront of the Create Evolve Mysterious Sex Sea region. This island stretched out 80,000 kilometers out of the sea, and even though it was close to the outer sea, it was not far away. The many overlords in this sea area were all powerful existences at the 6th order level, and from time to time, there would be 7th order sea beasts appearing. For such a powerful island, the creation mystical sex forces were also unbelievably powerful. Not only did they build a large gate of fortune here, there were also 3 prominent Sage Stage Supreme Elders, who took turns to guard the island. Even if there were Class 7 sea beasts in the sea that wanted to stir up tsunamis and create havoc, they wouldn't be able to do anything to Wonder Island. Swish! At this moment, the Grand Elder in charge of Wonder Island, Reverend Miaoyu, was polishing his qi, making it more compatible with the qi of heaven and earth. In the void, a streak of light rapidly approached. Sect Master's decree? Reverend Miaoyu reached out and caught the streak of light. His expression immediately froze as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. A moment later, he said to the boy attendant beside him, "Go invite Elder Shou Zhen and junior brother Miao Xian to see me." Yes. The guard who received the order respectfully complied and quickly retreated. There was usually only one of the 3 prominent Divine Stage Supreme Elders on the Wonderland Island, and they were responsible for monitoring the movements of the sea region. At the same time, they were responsible for giving orders for the development of the sea region. The other 2 Supreme Elders were focused on polishing their true qi, hoping to reach the Saint Stage. In the world, there were only a few people like Tsing Hui and Nalan Fei, who had reached the Spirit and Qi stage at such a young age. whether it was the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, or the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Those who could step into the prominent saint stage were usually over 200 years old. A cultivator's lifespan would only increase when they reached the awakening stage, or the spirit and chi stage. When they reached the golden core stage of the saint stage, they would have a lifespan of 3,000 years. Only then could they truly be called immortal. Before that, their lifespan was only as long as a mortal's, and was far from immortality. Under such circumstances, apart from cultivators who felt that they had no hope of attaining immortality, everyone else spent most of their time in secluded cultivation and wouldn't be distracted by miscellaneous matters. Grand Elders Shouzhen and Miao Xian were no exception. Not long after the guard left, two streams of light simultaneously descended upon Reverend Miao Yu's courtyard. Miao Yu, what's the matter? Could it be that there are some wild beasts that don't know what's good for them coming to our Wonder Island to cause trouble? Miao Xian and Shouzhen asked as they stepped into the room. The sect leader has ordered us to expand towards the East Sea and wipe out the Life Alliance station there. Elders, you will understand when you see it. Miao Yu didn't say much, and just handed the sect leader's decree to the two of them. East Sea Life League? Is the Life Alliance worth the sect leader's personal decree? That's right, that's right. Even though the Life Moon Alliance has accumulated quite a bit of power in the East Sea, wouldn't it be easy for the Creation Mystical sect to wipe them out? So what if he joined the Hunyuan Heaven sect and received its protection? As long as we can destroy the Life Moon Alliance, the Hunyuan Heaven sect won't dare to send a large number of people to snatch it. When Miao Xian and Shouzhen saw that Miao Yu had actually specially notified them about this matter, they both felt that Miao Yu was making a fuss over nothing. Miao Yu didn't respond and just said, "Elders, it won't be too late to take a look at the sect leader's decree first." Seeing this, the two of them had no choice but to scan the decree one by one. When they understood the contents, their expressions changed drastically. Cho Tsinghui is really bold. Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Supreme Elder? The Hunyuan Heaven Sect actually promoted Cho Tsinghui to a Supreme Elder? This is troublesome. The Supreme Elder's identity isn't the main point. The main point is the strength that this child has shown. Miao Yu slowly said, "In the past, our Creation Mystical sect didn't have any enemies in the East Sea. Even if the other sacred sects had planted spies in the East Sea and secretly supported some forces, once their identities were exposed, they would immediately attract the attention of the entire East Sea. Our Creation Mystical sect only needed to advance step by step, and we would eventually be able to wipe out the entire East Sea. However, the appearance of the Life Moon Alliance has caused some unforeseen changes to our stable strategy. I'm curious, why didn't Cho Tsinghui cause an uproar in the East Sea when he brought the Life Moon Alliance to join the Hunyuan Heaven sect? After all, it's taboo in the East Sea to collude with the 10 great sacred sects. So why did the other forces remain indifferent? I've more or less heard about this matter. The Life Moon Alliance joining the Hunyuan Heaven sect has indeed caused dissatisfaction among many East Sea forces. These East Sea forces even spontaneously organized to fight against the Life Moon Alliance. However, the Life Moon Alliance is too powerful, and their resistance is just a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. Even their greatest trump card in the East Sea can't do anything to the Life Moon Alliance. Several forces tried to lure the Overlord-level beasts into the Moon Lake Island, the headquarters of the Life Moon Alliance. But for some reason, the Overlord-level beasts all left once they came within 1,000 kilometers of the Moon Lake Island, making their greatest trump card useless. Miao Yu said, "Those Overlord-level beasts don't dare to come within 1,000 kilometers of the Moon Lake Island? Could it be that the news from the Life Alliance is true?" Miao Xian looked surprised. "What news? I heard this news by chance when I was in the Primal Chaos Divine Hall. Rumor has it that the Alliance Master of the Life Moon Alliance, Cho Tsinghui, has formed an alliance with the strongest overlord in the East Sea, a Class 9 Xuanwu. They will advance and retreat together. It's because of the Class 9 Xuanwu's protection that the Moon Lake Island has become a forbidden area for many sea beasts." TSK Class 9 Saint Beast? How is that possible? A Class 9 Saint Beast is a terrifying existence that hides deep in the East Sea. Even our create evolve mysterious sex Taoist Tian Ding can't harm it. If it hides deep in the sea and doesn't show up easily, even powerful experts can't do anything to it. Why would such a supreme overlord need to form an alliance with Cho Tsing Hui, a little Qingming stage cultivator, to advance and retreat together? Shoujin said disapprovingly. Miao Yu also nodded. I have heard this news before. The so-called alliance can only be formed when the two parties are equal in strength. The difference between a Qingming stage cultivator and a Class 9 Saint Beast is more than just a little bit. Especially in a special environment like the East Sea, a Class 9 Saint Beast can seize the opportunity to kill Cho Tsing Hui, a little Qingming stage cultivator, with one slap. How can the two parties form an alliance under such circumstances? I estimate that Cho Tsing Hui probably used a special method to pay tribute every year in exchange for a non-aggression agreement between the Life Moon Alliance and the Class 9 Saint Beast Xuanwu. Although Cho Tsing Hui is only at the Qingming stage, if the two elders treat him as an ordinary Qingming stage cultivator, then you are gravely mistaken. Don't forget that the sect master's decree said that Cho Tsing Hui had assisted the people of the Jin Wu religion and colluded with the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's two grand elders, Yuan He and Qin Zhen, to kill or create evolve mysterious sect's grand elder, Zuanyangzi. From this, it can be seen that his battle strength is not inferior to the illustrious saint stage. Otherwise, it can't explain why he was listed as a grand elder in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Miao Xian said solemnly. I know of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Qin Zhen. She is a powerful figure who can manifest the heavenly Peng battle body with the help of a supreme treasure. Zuanyangzi is not her match in a one-on-one fight. With Qin Zhen's cooperation and Cho Tsing Hui's sudden attack, it is not impossible for Zuanyangzi to be caught off guard. Moreover, Tsing Hui's strength is built on the foundation of the high-level Son of Chaos Saint Art. As long as we avoid him when he uses the Saint Art, what kind of storm can he stir up? That's true. Illustrious saint stage cultivators like them who rely on the saint art can't be compared to us. Seeing this, Miao Xian did not insist. In short, we just have to be careful. Don't fail miserably when the time comes. In that case, we will follow the sect master's orders and change the direction of our development. We will directly approach the East Sea. If I remember correctly, although we have not built the Gate of Fortune on the Flying Snow Island, Frigid Snow Island, and Floating Snow Island in the East Sea, the relevant planning has been done very well. I will have to trouble Elder Shou Zhen and junior brother Miao Xian to secretly build these Gate of Fortune. If we can build these Gate of Fortune, we will have a foundation in the East Sea. At that time, it will not be difficult to sweep the East Sea. That's right. The last time the East Sea plan failed at the Flying Snow Island, where we failed, we have to stand up. I will send a message to the sect master to threaten the Limitless Sword sect and the Jin Wu religion. We will use these two battles to attract the attention of the other saint sects in the continent. At the same time, we will work in the dark and try to complete the reconstruction of these three Gate of Fortune without anyone noticing. Shoujin nodded and turned to Miao Yu. Elder Miao Yu, I will leave the matter of the Island of Wonders to you. The two of us will go to the Flying Snow Island. You have to be careful here. Don't worry, there is a large Gate of Fortune on the Island of Wonders. Sitting in the large Gate of Fortune, we can borrow the endless power of the Gate of Fortune. Even if a Saint Realm expert comes personally, I will dare to fight him head-on. Furthermore, the Class 7 sea beasts in this sea region have already been subdued by us. I don't think these beasts will have the guts to invade our creation mysterious sect. Yes. Shou Zhen and Miao Xian nodded repeatedly. Let's not delay any longer. We will bring people and set off to manage the East Sea and arrange for the reconstruction of the creation mysterious sect. At this moment, Tsing Hui, who was concentrating on cultivating the fifth stage of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in seclusion, didn't know that because he had killed Zuanyangzi and exposed enough of a threat, the creation mysterious sect had changed their overseas strategy and turned their spearhead to his life alliance. He was now using the Great Sun Crystal to transform the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. He had seen the divine beast Golden Crow's true form with his own eyes. Compared to the Torch Dragon's divine soul in his spiritual world, the Golden Crow's divine soul was many times clearer and more real. Now, with the continuous replenishment of power, streams of light were emitted from the Golden Crow's divine soul and constantly penetrated his body, transforming his body and spirit into the divine beast Golden Crow. During the transformation, the temperature around him kept rising, causing many voids in the cultivation room to spontaneously combust without fire. Such a huge commotion naturally shocked the people of the Life Alliance. At this moment, they were shocked to discover that their leader Tsing Hui actually cultivated 2 meridians at the same time. At this moment, the people of the Life Alliance, who were almost certain that there was an almighty behind their leader, no longer had any doubts about Tsing Hui's background. They were all excited as they stared at the cloud of fire that was gradually condensing. Even without Ling Yu's instructions, these elders of the Life Alliance had already spontaneously guarded the surroundings of the Full Moon Palace. Anyone who dared to approach the Full Moon Palace at this moment and affect their leader's cultivation would immediately face the thunderous retaliation of all the powerhouses of the Life Alliance. Chapter 289. I have mastered the 5th level of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. The raging Golden Crow True Qi in Tsing Hui's body gradually calmed down. At this point, his cultivation room had already been burned, and the floor had almost turned into glass. However, his mind was not focused on the glass on the floor. Instead, he turned his attention to the 6th level of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Or rather, it was a secret technique derived from the 6th level, the Eternal Blazing Sunday, the Eternal Blazing Sun, that could only be refined by the 6th level of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. However, if a green netherworld realm expert's cultivation was good enough, he could also refine the Eternal Blazing Sun at this level. Furthermore, he could melt the Eternal Blazing Sun that belonged to him into his body and detonate it at a critical moment to burn the sky and boil the sea. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Tsing Hui calmed his mind and sensed the true qi in his body. He quickly understood the pros and cons of refining the Eternal Blazing Sunday. I have cultivated divine-grade true qi and gang qi, and the energy is extremely pure. It is not difficult to refine the Eternal Blazing Sun in my body. However, the key is that the total amount of true qi in my body is still lacking. If I want to successfully refine the Eternal Blazing Sun, I either have to reach the peak of the green netherworld realm, or use the Great Sun Essence, or Great Sun Crystal, to continuously recover my true qi in the process of refining the Eternal Blazing Sun. After pondering for a while, Tsing Hui focused his mind on the Chaos Temple. There was no need to use the Great Sun Essence or Great Sun Crystal to refine the Eternal Blazing Sunday. It would take too much energy and time. Therefore, he had to reach the peak of the green netherworld realm as soon as possible. Tsing Hui would have a headache if he wanted to make a breakthrough in the Torch Sun Sutra in a short period of time. However, the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Buzz buzz. Just as Tsing Hui was about to head to the sky to exchange for the golden blood, and head to the core of the Great Sun to observe the divine beast Golden Crow True Body's cultivation, a slight tremor appeared in the Chaos Temple. Following that, Tsing Hui clearly sensed a majestic treasure pavilion rising out of thin air outside his personal space. An endless aura spread out from the treasure pavilion, filled with mystery. Qing Su was slightly stunned when he saw this mysterious treasure pavilion that seemed extremely close, yet also extremely far away, hovering outside his personal space. Then he quickly reacted. Chaos Treasure Pavilion? In the next moment, he seemed to have thought of something and looked at his chaotic rank. 30. Primal Chaos Level 30. Unknowingly, 22 days had passed. His chaotic realm had already surmounted the threshold of the 29th rank in one go, and he'd advanced to the 30th rank that was equivalent to the top ranks of chaotic children. The Chaos Treasure Pavilion would naturally appear once the chaos level rose to the 30th level. From today onwards, he would be able to purchase countless top-rate treasures from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. These top-rate treasures were usually able to be used by Saint Realm experts, and they were unbelievably precious. Level 30. I've finally reached level 30. Now that the Son of Chaos had reached the 30th step, Qing Su actually did not check out the heavenly resources that had appeared in the Chaotic Treasure Pavilion first. Instead, he focused his attention on the new characteristics that had appeared after reaching the 30th step. Teleport. It was a teleportation technique that a Tier 30 Son of Chaos possessed. Without any reason, Xing Hui directly assigned this new level to the teleportation technique. He didn't even care too much about the incarnation technique, which was only one step away from reaching Tier 5. Teleportation technique Tier 1. As Xing Hui focused his attention on the teleportation technique, the consciousness in his mind seemed to undergo endless changes. The concepts of space and matter gradually dissipated in his mind. He seemed to have turned into a pure thought, ignoring the obstacles of space and matter. It was as if he had advanced to a higher dimension in one go, feeling the world he was in from a completely different perspective. Although he couldn't hear or see clearly, that mysterious and indescribable feeling was entrenched in his heart. As long as he moved his mind, he seemed to be able to reach any place where his thoughts extended. Teleportation technique. It really is as the rumors say. It can teleport people to any place they imagine. Xing Hui was faintly excited and couldn't wait to use the teleportation technique to try to return to Earth. However, after a moment he calmed down, not to mention whether the teleportation technique could teleport him to Earth. If it could be completed, and he directly returned to Earth, he would have to wait another year if he wanted to come back. After all, in this world, he could obtain immortality, cultivate the sage gold core, and live for 3,000 years. Such a temptation was quite significant to Xing Hui. It was unrealistic to say that he wouldn't come back to Earth after returning. In this way, a round trip would take at least a year. It would be inappropriate for him to ignore the affairs of the Life Alliance for a year. So he had to make some arrangements in advance. Besides, Xing Hui's gaze turned and finally left the teleportation technique. He landed on the Chaos Treasure Pavilion that was suspended in the air outside his personal space. Every time the Chaos Treasure Pavilion appeared, 10 heavenly treasures would appear for cultivators to purchase and use. Some of these heavenly treasures were extremely beneficial to cultivators, while others were of little value. For example, the blood of the torch dragon of the divine realm, and the blood of holy beasts of the divine realm. The corresponding level of the treasures was extremely high, but it didn't necessarily mean that the 10 heavenly treasures in each round were expensive. In addition, the 10 heavenly treasures displayed in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion didn't stay the same. Under certain circumstances, these 10 heavenly treasures would be replaced by other heavenly treasures and wait for the next round of updates. As for the frequency of this happening, it was from 1 month to 10 years. Several top Sons of Chaos, who urgently needed the heavenly treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, had experimented and kept the Chaos Treasure Pavilion open. During this period, some people changed the treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion more than 10 times in 10 years, while some people changed it once or twice. No one knew the conditions of this change, but they vaguely guessed that it had something to do with the Taoist instrument that contained Taoist rhymes. Due to the uncertainty of time, the 29th level Sons of Chaos would wait for 10 years to ensure that nothing would go wrong. They would then spend 100 Taoist rhymes to raise their Chaos level to the 30th level, and purchase the treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. There were also rich and overbearing people who raised their Chaos level every 2 or 3 years, to see if the treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion had been changed. However, when the Chaos level fell from the 30th level to the 29th level, the Taoist rhymes of the current level would be reset to 0. It was equivalent to paying 100 Taoist rhymes to take a look. If the heavenly treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion that could be exchanged for hadn't been changed, then even the 30th level Sons of Chaos would lament the loss. I wonder which 10 heavenly treasures I can exchange for in this first opening of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. With a trace of anticipation, Xing Hui directly split a trace of his spirit and probed into the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. As his spirit entered the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, the surrounding environment suddenly changed. A hall filled with an ancient aura appeared in front of him. The hall broke the visual convention and was surrounded by 10 directions. Each direction was like a wall sealed in ice, and there were all kinds of divine objects inside. The first thing Xing Hui saw was the wall in front of him. There was a young beast there. A young Qilin beast. The divine beast Qilin. Xing Hui's breathing stopped for a moment. Although it was only a young Qilin beast, when Xing Hui extended his spirit to the young Qilin beast, the terrifying pressure that belonged to a divine beast still swept over continuously. It made Xing Hui feel suffocated. An almighty. A young Qilin beast that wasn't inferior to an almighty. One had to know that the living creatures purchased in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion weren't responsible for taming them. If one couldn't tame them after purchasing them, they would escape directly, and even kill the Son of Chaos who exchanged for them. They would be free from then on. There had been such unlucky people in the past. Therefore, after sensing the terrifying aura of the young Qilin beast that wasn't inferior to an almighty, Xing Hui's face darkened. He immediately shifted his gaze and didn't even bother to look at its exchange price. Sealed in the second ice wall was a gemstone that flickered with colorful flowing light. Xing Hui split a part of his spirit to sense it for a moment and was instantly shocked. Boundary Stone. The last of the 6 stages of the divine realm was called One Thought to create a world. Cultivators could open up their own world and store their qi, magical powers, and treasures in it. One only needed to imagine how incredible that realm was. The Boundary Stone was a treasure that was needed to open up a world in the One Thought to create a world realm. It had incredible benefits for stabilizing the many laws in the world. Good stuff. This is really good stuff. If this treasure appeared in the Divine Wilderness era, countless invincible divine realm figures would have broken their skulls and killed each other until rivers of blood flowed. Xing Hui couldn't help but sigh from the bottom of his heart. However, after sighing, his face couldn't help twitching slightly. A treasure that could make many invincible divine realm figures break their skulls and kill each other until rivers of blood flowed in the Divine Wilderness era. What use was it to him? A nobody who hadn't even reached the Vision Divine Realm. Not to mention that it was useless to him. Even if he brought it to Heaven Wasteland, there probably wouldn't be many people who could use it. In the entire Heaven Wasteland world, let alone a supreme expert who could create a world with a one thought to create a world. There probably hadn't even been a cultivator of 2 or 3 stages higher. Although I know that many treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion are very useful to invincible divine realm figures, you don't have to be so high profile, right? Xing Hui complained in his heart. After a while, his gaze fell on the third ice wall. Dragon Pearl? The dragon pearl of a divine realm true dragon. This was more precious than the blood essence of a true dragon, and was equivalent to the core of a divine beast. A divine realm true dragon could have 81 drops of blood essence in its body, but there was only one dragon pearl. This was equivalent to the essence of a true dragon, and was also the place where the dragon soul resided. Xing Hui immediately looked down. The price? 360 Dao rhythms. After a moment of silence, Xing Hui looked at the fourth wall without hesitation. After being shocked 3 times in a row, the first thing Xing Hui looked at was not the item sealed in the fourth wall, but the price. 100 Dao rhythms. Although he had less than 100 Dao rhythms, he was only 10 Dao rhythms away from 100. Seeing that there was hope of buying this item, Xing Hui suddenly looked up. The essence of the golden crow. It contained the blood essence of the divine beast golden crow. Chapter 290. Golden Crow Soul Essence. Xing Hui's eyes lit up at the sight of this item. The heavens are really helping me to cultivate the Golden Crow battle body. With this Golden Crow Soul Essence, I will have a divine-grade battle body. Xing Hui smiled from the bottom of his heart. Sure enough, compared to the Shining Dragon bloodline, the Great Sun Golden Crow technique was obviously more suitable for him. Now that his Great Sun Golden Crow technique had reached the 5th stage, and his cultivation had broken through to the Blue Underworld realm, He only needed to go to the core of the great sun to observe the real body of the golden crow divine beast. With the help of the endless essence of the great sun, he would be able to easily step into the peak of the blue underworld realm in 1 or 2 months. Then, he would refine this golden crow soul essence, rush to the vision divine stage, and condense the divine-grade golden crow battle body. Good. The Chaos Treasure Pavilion really lives up to its name. The only problem now is that I don't have enough Dao runes. Although I obtained 80 Dao runes from the Jin Wu religion and 9 Dao runes from the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, if I want to go to the core of the Great Sun to cultivate for 2 months, and buy this Golden Crow Soul Essence, I still need 40 Dao runes. I have to find a way to make up for these 40 Dao runes as soon as possible. Countless thoughts flashed through Tsing Hui's mind. Deliver goods to the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce? With his current 4th stage transformation technique, he could do it in 1 or 2 months. However, if he delivered goods too frequently, it would attract the attention of others. This was not appropriate for him, who was only at the blue underworld realm. After a moment, he looked toward the 5th ice wall. Perhaps, he could use the Chaos Treasure Pavilion items that he did not need to exchange for more Dao runes. Star Balance Stone, a treasure for cultivating the Dao of Stars? There doesn't seem to be any experts cultivating the Dao of Stars in the infinite wasteland world. It's priced at 60 Dao runes. If I can't sell it, I'll suffer a loss. I have to buy something more convenient to sell. Primordial Spirit Chi. This is Primordial Spirit Chi. As expected, the Primordial Spirit Chi in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion is priced at 10 Dao runes, half the price of the Primordial Spirit Chi sold on the market. Unfortunately, there is only one Primordial Spirit Chi. These Primordial Heavenly Pearls? It contains a kind of mysterious power that can interfere with the normal operation of natural formations. It also has a pretty good weakening effect on man-made formations. This object can be considered as a target. A Heavenly Abode Divine Stone? A Saint Realm warrior could unleash a strike that could shatter a vacuum by drawing out its power. Was this the Space Understanding Grass? After consuming it, it could greatly increase one's perception for 3 days. Wait a minute. What the hell was the 10,000 taels of gold inside the 10th wall? Are they here to make up the numbers? Tsing Hui looked at them one by one. The treasures produced by the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion were definitely top-quality treasures. Every single one of the 10 treasures was profound and extraordinary, and they each had their own miraculous effects. Except for that so-called 10,000 taels of gold, unfortunately, without exception, the prices of these items were extremely high. The Primordial Spirit Chi was actually the cheapest among them. Above it were the Void Understanding Grass, Primordial Heavenly Pearls, Grotto Heaven Divine Stones, and so on. What puzzled Tsing Hui the most was that the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion actually dared to sell the 10,000 taels of gold at the price of 40 Taoist rhymes. Tsing Hui really wanted to complain and ask if the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion would recycle the gold. Even if it was 1/10 or 100th of the gold, he could sell it however much he had. Among all the items, the best ones to sell are the Primordial Spirit Chi and the Space Understanding Grass. However, the Primordial Spirit Chi can only bring me a profit of 10 Taoist rhymes at most, and the profit from the Space Understanding Grass will not exceed 15. Tsing Hui wanted to obtain a profit of 40 Taoist rhymes in one go, and his only hope was the Primordial Heavenly Pearl. The Primordial Heavenly Pearl had 34 Taoist rhymes, and the market price was between 55 to 60 Taoist rhymes. No matter how he calculated, the profit he could obtain would be more than 20 Taoist rhymes, especially if he met a cultivator who urgently needed the Primordial Heavenly Pearl to break the formation. It would not be difficult for him to raise the price to 60 Taoist rhymes. In the Eastern Wilderness, only the Creation Mystical Sect had mastered the mysteries of formations. Other sects might have formations, but they were like dogs instead of tigers. They had wasted a lot of natural treasures for nothing. However, the Infinite Wasteland domain and other prosperous continents were different. Some continents might be filled with formations, and if one did not have the means to break the formation, they would not be able to continue. In such a continent, the primordial heavenly pearl naturally had an extraordinary value. It is still unknown whether the teleportation technique can successfully send me back to Earth. If the teleportation technique fails, I will waste a year. I might as well collect all these materials properly, and then proceed with the teleportation technique. This way, even if the teleportation technique really fails, and I am teleported to an unfamiliar area, I can still cultivate in seclusion there for a year. I can also use the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce to put the primordial heavenly pearl on the agenda. Xing Hui had waited for a few years, and he was not in a hurry to wait for 1 or 2 months. He glanced at the Taoist rhymes in his hand, 89. The primordial heavenly pearl had 34 Taoist rhymes. The primordial spirit chi had 10 Taoist rhymes. The space understanding grass had 25 Taoist rhymes. He quickly squandered all 69 Taoist rhymes. As for the remaining items, they could not be bought with the mere 20 Taoist rhymes he had. After buying these things, Xing Hui did not hesitate. He directly went to the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce and asked for a spiritual imprint. Swoosh! The next moment, Xing Hui directly operated the incarnation technique. Following the location set by the spiritual imprint, he directly broke through the void and headed toward the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. In an instant, he had already condensed vitality in a courtyard outside the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce and manifested. Senior Dong Yang. Outside the courtyard, Gong Xing immediately put down all the matters in his hands and greeted him. President Gong Xing. Xing Hui nodded to Gong Xing this time. I came to the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce to ask President Gong Xing for help with a few matters. Senior Dong Yang, please tell me, if I may ask, how long does Senior Dong Yang plan to stay in our Chamber of Commerce? The president of our Chamber of Commerce would like to meet Senior Dong Yang personally. The president of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce? Xing Hui was a little puzzled. However, he was now busy experimenting with the teleportation technique and wanted to accumulate Taoist rhymes as soon as possible. He did not have time to go to the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce's headquarters. He immediately said, "Let's wait for the future. There will be a chance." Gong Xing was a little disappointed when he heard this, but he still respectfully responded with a bow. "Yes, Senior Dong Yang. What can I do for you?" Xing Hui stretched out his hand and took out the Yuan Tian pearl and space grass. "I want to sell these 2 treasures through the channels of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. This is..." As the president of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce's Martial Desolation City branch, Gong Xing was naturally knowledgeable. He immediately recognized the treasures in Xing Hui's hands, and his eyes suddenly lit up. "Yuan Tian pearl and space grass? Good stuff, these are really good stuff. Senior Dong Yang wants to sell these 2 treasures? I can apply to the headquarters to buy the Yuan Tian pearl for 60 Taoist rhymes, and the space grass for 40 Taoist rhymes. What do you think?" 60-40, exactly 100 Taoist rhymes. Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat. The price that Gong Xing offered was considered high on the market. Even if it was taken out for an auction, the price would probably not be much higher. If it was a smaller auction, the final price might not even reach 100 Taoist rhymes. When he bought these 2 treasures, he still had 20 Taoist rhymes left. Now that he had 100 Taoist rhymes, he only needed to make another trip for Gong Xing and earn 10 Taoist rhymes to accumulate the resources to cultivate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to the 6th level. It would also save him the time to wait for the auction. Okay, 100 Taoist rhymes it is. In addition, since I'm already at the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, I might as well deliver the goods for you. The profit must not be less than 10 Taoist rhymes. Junior understands. Junior will arrange it for Senior Dong Yang. Seeing that Xing Hui had agreed, Gong Xing's face lit up with a hint of joy. Go quickly. After this matter, I will be delayed for a year. I'm afraid I won't be able to deliver goods for the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce for the next year. A year? It's okay. Senior Dong Yang's matter is more important. Xing Hui nodded. A transaction of 100 Taoist rhymes was considered a large transaction for the Martial Desolate City Chamber of Commerce. Naturally, a branch in Martial Desolate City could not provide so many Taoist rhymes. Hui was not in a hurry, and just waited patiently. He did not have to wait for too long. In the face of such a large-scale transaction, the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce obviously attached great importance to it. In less than a day, Wuxia, who had been in contact with Hui several times, had already appeared in the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. He was accompanied by 4 fourth-level Saint Realm experts, who had cultivated the immortal golden core. This was because the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce could not send almighties into this area. Otherwise, the Taoist rhymes of 100 Taoist rhymes would have to be personally escorted by almighties. Junior Wuxia greets Senior Dongyang. As soon as they arrived at the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce's branch, Wuxia hurriedly stepped forward and bowed respectfully. Hui, a little blue netherworld realm cultivator, had a certain degree of immunity to the salute of a Saint Realm expert like Wuxia. After nodding slightly, he said bluntly, "Let's proceed with the transaction. I still have things to do." As he spoke, he had already handed the Heavenly Origin Bead and Space Understanding Grass to Gongxing Sr. "Please take a look." Wuxia offered more than 30 Taoist rhymes in one go. Hui took the Taoist rhymes. The Chaos Temple had reminded him that there were a total of 112 Taoist, rhymes of 112 Taoist, rhymes of 112 Taoist, rhymes of the 12 Taoist, rhymes of these Taoist rhymes would be his reward for the next delivery. "The number is correct," Hui said, and put all these things into his personal space. When the few Golden Core Realm cultivators who came with Wuxia saw this, they were naturally envious again. With the avatar technique and a 5th-level personal space, he could obtain at least 20 Taoist rhymes of income in a year. If they could also have such a level of chaos, they would not have to worry about resources for cultivation. When delivering the goods, I will ask you about the target's spiritual imprint. Senior Dongyang, you can go by yourself. This time, the goods only need to be delivered within 6 months. Okay. Hui responded, and his avatar immediately dissipated, sweeping up waves of Yuanqi hurricanes in the courtyard. Gongxing waved his hand and dissipated the hurricanes into nothingness. At the same time, 2 treasures, the Heavenly Yuan Bead and the Space Understanding Grass, appeared in his hand. The Heavenly Yuan Bead is better, but the Space Understanding Grass is an extinct treasure on Tianhuang region. It can only be produced by the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Could Senior Dongyang be an expert who opened the Chaos Treasure Pavilion? Wuxia looked at the 2 treasures in Gongxing's hand, especially the Space Understanding Grass, and asked with sparkling eyes. "Currently, we already have a good relationship with this elder. As long as we maintain it, there will come a day when this elder will be completely at ease and come to trade with us. At that time, we will naturally know if he has opened the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion." Gongxing smiled, and then looked at the Heavenly Yuan Bead in his hand. "I remember that a sacred cave abode appeared in the flame-barren state, and that cave abode is protected by many formations. It seems that we will have to use this cave abode as an excuse to advertise the auction of this Heavenly Yuan Bead." Chapter 291. I have waited for more than 5 years. I am not in a hurry to wait for 1 or 2 months. Hui muttered to himself as he felt the weakness in his body. Moments later, he focused his attention on the 6th level of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. He continued to break down and study this level of technique, pondering over the many changes within it. At the same time, he compared it to the true form of the divine beast Golden Crow that he had seen with his own eyes, and completely perfected it. 10 days of weakness quickly passed. After getting rid of the state of weakness and adjusting his mental state to the peak, Hui's figure flashed and already appeared in the sky. In the sky, Hui's footsteps were a little hesitant. Zhongzhen Shangren obviously thought highly of him and would try his best to satisfy any of his requests. If he asked to borrow some golden blood to cultivate in the core of the Great Sun, Zhongzhen Shangren would certainly not refuse, but this way, he and Zhongzhen Shangren had a great relationship. But soon he cut off this hesitation. Even if the transmission technique can return to Earth, it is not like I will never return. After a year, I will deal with the matters on earth, and eventually return to Heaven Wasteland to pursue the path of immortality. At that time, I will slowly repay those favors. And if the transmission technique can't let me directly return to Earth, then I will have to stay on Heaven Wasteland for decades, or even hundreds of years, until I reach the realm of crushing vacuum, and then there is hope to leave. At that time, it will be much easier to repay the favor of Zhongzhen Shangren. Thinking of this, Xing Hui made a decision in his heart. His figure flashed and already appeared outside the book creation hall. Senior brother Pak Hui. Seeing the arrival of Xing Hui, Yuling showed a smile on her face. Senior brother hasn't come for a while. I have been concentrating on cultivation during this time, so I can't spare any time. Xing Hui said, glancing in the direction of the book creation hall. Is the esteemed lord here? The esteemed lord is not in the hall, but I will ask for you. Yuling said, quickly took out a jade talisman and sent a message. Not long after, her face showed a joyful expression. The esteemed lord will be back in 30 minutes. The esteemed lord asked senior brother Pak Hui to wait in the book creation hall for a while. Thank you. I wouldn't dare. You're the favorite of His Excellency, and you're very likely to become his disciple in the future. I'm not even a nominal disciple of His Excellency. It's just that His Excellency likes me, and keeps me by his side because he thinks I'm smart. If senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui becomes His Excellency's disciple in the future, please put in a good word for me in front of His Excellency. Become the disciple of Zhongzhen Exalted Master. Xing Hui was startled, but he smiled bitterly and said, I'm afraid the Venerable Master might not be willing to accept me. That can't be. If the Venerable Master didn't want to take you in as a disciple, why would he think so highly of you? Could it be that you are a relative of the Venerable Master? Xing Hui shook his head, unwilling to explain too much on this topic. If there is a chance, I will propose to His Excellency to accept you as a disciple. Then thank you senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui. With senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui's words, this matter is most likely going to happen. When senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui comes to Heaven Wasteland, junior sister will certainly invite senior fellow apprentice to thank senior fellow apprentice for his help. It's not set in stone yet. You don't have to thank me. I don't know whether this matter will be successful or not. In the end, it still depends on what His Excellency wants. Xing Hui and Yuling chatted, and soon, a stream of light had fallen into the book creation hall. Well, His Excellency is back. You are already familiar with the book creation hall. Go in. Xing Hui nodded, stepped into the book creation hall, and came directly to the study of Zhongzhen esteemed master. Greetings to His Excellency. Well, what are you here for? I want to go to the core of the great sun again to cultivate, and use the golden blood to transform my cultivation base. I hope His Excellency can make an exception. Go to the core of the great sun. Zhongzhen esteemed master frowned. How is your cultivation of the method of transforming into virtual qi? It has reached the small success stage. Small success stage? Zhongzhen esteemed master's face relaxed a little. Since your method of transforming into virtual qi has reached the small success stage, it is okay to improve your cultivation base, but you have to pay attention to yourself and cultivate the method of transforming into virtual qi to the great success stage as soon as possible. Only when you have reached the great success stage can you really be said to have a smooth journey before you reach the transformative stage. I understand. I will try my best to cultivate the method of transforming into virtual qi to the great success stage before I reach the transformative stage. Well, cultivate in the core of the great sun for a month, a portion of golden blood, and 15 Tao rhythms. When someone from Tianxiong wants to go to the eastern wilderness for a transaction, I will inform you to make up for the Tao vessel. Thank you, His Excellency. Xing Hui bowed respectfully. Only he could have such treatment. To enter the core of the great sun in advance, without turning in his Tao rhythms. If it were other people, even if they were high-ranking members, there would be no such thing as credit. This is the golden blood. Come with me to the core of the great sun. As Zhongzhen esteemed master spoke, he led Xing Hui straight to the core of the great sun. This was the third time that Xing Hui had ascended to the core of the great sun, and could be said to be familiar with the way. And after Zhang Zhen esteemed master gave him the dazzling sun bead, he did not need to worry too much, and turned to leave. But at this time Xing Hui thought of his damaged, young devouring bead, and hurriedly asked, "Esteemed master, how can I exchange for this dazzling sun bead?" There are not many dazzling sun beads in Tianqiong, and although its level is not high, it has the ability to repel fire, and is very valuable. Even in the heaven wasteland world, there are people who offer dozens of Dao rhythms. If you want to get a dazzling sun bead, in addition to having no less than 60 Dao rhythms, you also have to make contributions to Tianqiong. Make contributions to Tianqiong. Xing Hui nodded. After this cultivation is over, I will go into seclusion for 1 or 2 years, and then I will go to the punishment hall to receive a mission from Tianqiong to accumulate contributions. Well, it is not the first time that you have come to the core of the great sun. I will not say more. You be careful, I will come to find you in a month. Thank you, His Excellency. Xing Hui bowed to Zhang Zhen esteemed master. After Zhang Zhen esteemed master left, Xing Hui gathered his thoughts, and immediately looked down at the divine beast golden crow that was bathed in the endless, great sun true fire. The great sun true fire was the most terrifying flame origin power in the world, and its power was incredible. If a cultivator wanted to really master the great sun true fire, they often had to reach the divine realm. At that level, they could derive a divine ability that contained the power of the great sun true fire. At that time, the flames could burn the sky and boil the sea, and could intimidate the world. Even many of the top powerful people, with the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, could not withstand it. This was also one of the reasons why the bloodline of the Golden Crow could be the most destructive and most respected in the world. Xing Hui sat on the core of the great sun, observing the countless great sun god patterns on the divine beast Golden Crow, and comprehending many of its mysteries. The 5th and 6th levels of the great sun Golden Crow technique, which were originally incomplete, were quickly perfected, and the key parts that were originally vague and unclear were easily understood. The 2 levels of the great sun Golden Crow technique were constantly circulating in his mind, and the great sun Golden Crow technique in his body was also circulating, absorbing the essence of the great sun Golden Crow technique around his body and constantly replenishing himself. Under this kind of concentrated cultivation, Xing Hui's cultivation progressed very quickly. Even though the effect of the Great Sun Core technique decreased as his cultivation increased, but after a month, his Great Sun Jin Wu religion cultivation still reached the peak of the 5th level, reaching the same level as the Torch Sun Sutra. Especially when he personally witnessed the Great Sun True Fire rolling and surging in the Great Sun Core technique, he had a new understanding of the method of refining the eternal blazing sun. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want to miss the precious cultivation time of the Great Sun Core technique, he couldn't help but directly cultivate and try to condense an eternal blazing sun. A month has passed. Pak Hui, you should return. Your cultivation has increased too quickly, and if you continue to cultivate, you will face the crucial step of condensing a saint body. You can't be careless at this step. If you are careless, you will squander the foundation that you have worked so hard to build, and only condense a saint battle body. At that time, it will be too late for you to regret. Therefore, even if you have the confidence to directly cultivate to the vision domain stage, suppress it, and turn it into your foundation. Don't act rashly before you have absolute confidence. Esteemed Zhangzhen's figure appeared beside Xing Hui, and saw through the problem that Xing Hui was facing. Esteemed Zhangzhen, don't worry. I understand. Before I have absolute confidence, I won't easily enter the vision domain stage. Xing Hui said, All right, I will bring you away from the core of the great sun. As esteemed Zhangzhen spoke, he grabbed Xing Hui and brought him quickly through the sky dome realm. In the blink of an eye, they had already landed outside the book creation hall. This kind of method that was similar to traveling through the void was even faster than the flying speed of the rainbow transformation technique. All right, activate the power of the golden blood immediately and return to the real world to consolidate the cultivation of this month. Yes, Xing Hui responded, and activated the power of the golden blood. This chaotic body also left the Chaos Shrine. As he left the Chaos Shrine, the vast blazing power wrapped in the golden blood seemed to have passed through the barrier of space and directly merged with his body in the real world. In an instant, the cultivation of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, that was originally at the early stage of the Blue Netherworld realm, began to rapidly break through. The dense and majestic blazing aura continuously dissipated from his body, once again causing the temperature in the cultivation room to rise sharply. The area within a radius of tens of meters was almost turned into a furnace of heaven and earth. At this moment, if there were cultivators who had not cultivated the protective aura to step into Tsing Hui's cultivation room, there was no need for Tsing Hui to make a move. The blazing power that filled the sealed space of the cultivation room was enough to burn them to ashes. Even if it was an expert who had cultivated the aura, their aura would probably be ignited. If they did not quickly retreat, it would be difficult for them to escape the fate of being burned to ashes. This was the tyrannical power of the Golden Crow True Qi. Compared to the Golden Crow True Qi, although the Torch Dragon was also called the Great Sun True God, it was far from being comparable to the Golden Crow True Qi in the path of destruction. Perhaps even if the Red Sun True Qi in the middle stage of the Blue Netherworld realm faced the Golden Crow True Qi in the early stage of the Blue Netherworld realm, the Golden Crow True Qi in the middle stage of the Blue Netherworld realm would have the advantage in the end. Chapter 292. The Great Sun Golden Crow Technique has reached the pinnacle of the 5th level. My cultivation base has also reached the pinnacle of the Green Netherworld realm. I only need to spend some time polishing my true Qi to make it as pure as I wish. Then I can use the power of the Golden Crow Soul Essence to try to condense the Golden Crow combat body and break through to the prominent divine stage. Tsing Hui projected his consciousness into the Chaos Treasure Pavilion outside his personal space in the Chaos Temple. He communicated with the Chaos Treasure Pavilion and spent 100 Taoist rhymes to exchange for the Golden Crow Soul Essence. After exchanging the Golden Crow Soul Essence from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, it lost the suppression of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion's ceiling wall. That mighty and blazing heat wave continued to spread out. Even though Tsing Hui had cultivated the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to the pinnacle of the 5th level, he could still feel the terrifying power that made him shudder. In particular, there was a remnant soul in the Golden Crow Soul Essence. It seemed to be the shadow of a divine beast, the Golden Crow. When Tsing Hui was refining this item, he had to merge the Golden Crow Divine Soul in his spiritual world with the remnant soul. If he succeeded, the Golden Crow Divine Soul in his spiritual world would become more real and condensed. The derived Golden Crow combat body would also have more magical abilities. If he failed, his divine soul would be incinerated into ashes, and he would die. Fortunately, this Golden Crow's soul essence isn't at the saint stage like the Torch Dragon's blood. If I'm not mistaken, this Golden Crow's soul essence should only be at the 5th or 6th level of the saint stage. The divine beast's blood essence, soul essence, and essence core are usually divided into different levels. A saint stage Golden Crow's soul essence costs 100 Dao rhymes, but a saint stage Golden Crow's soul essence costs at least 300 Dao rhymes. Tsing Hui's eyes sparkled as he sensed the Golden Crow soul essence that he had exchanged for. As soon as the Golden Crow's soul essence was exchanged, the terrifying heat contained within it had already turned the area within a radius of tens of kilometers into a fiery purgatory. Fortunately, his personal space was spacious enough. If it was only a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 personal space, it would be impossible to store any ordinary items in this space. I have to refine it as soon as possible. Qing Su's personal space was at the 5th tier. It was 100,000 meters across, or 100 kilometers across. Right now, the power of the Golden Crow's soul essence made it so that nothing within 30 to 40 kilometers of his personal space could exist. Even though the personal space he could use was less than 10 kilometers, it would still be a problem if he kept the Golden Crow's soul essence. There is only a trace of the remnant soul of the Golden Crow in the Golden Crow soul essence. With my spiritual power at the 73rd level, it won't be difficult to draw it out and integrate it into the divine soul of the Golden Crow that I created. Plus, I still have the chi of the primordial spirit, so this won't be a problem. The key is the power contained in the Golden Crow blood essence. Blood essence is different from blood. It's pure blood, so I can refine it directly. But the power in it is not inferior to the power of the blood of the divine stage Golden Crow. When I took the torch dragon blood, I had to supplement it with external items to neutralize it. The Golden Crow blood essence is much more domineering than the torch dragon blood. If I don't break it, I won't be able to refine it. Xinghui pondered for a while. He couldn't find a way. His good friends, esteemed Zhu Zhao and esteemed Zhangzhen, also didn't cultivate the Golden Crow bloodline. It seemed that he had to rely on the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce to neutralize the medicinal power. In today's world, there were many people who cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline, and there were also many who refined the Golden Crow blood essence to increase their cultivation. Similar medicinal pills should be much easier to find than those that came with the Torch Dragon bloodline. Thinking of this, Xinghui directly escaped into the Chaos Temple, transformed into the appearance of the powerful Dong Yang, and contacted the president of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, Gong Xing. As the president of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, and a public figure in the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, he naturally didn't have to keep his identity in the real world a secret like ordinary sons of chaos. In the Chaos Temple, Gong Xing was still extremely respectful in front of Xinghui. Senior Dong Yang, what can I do for you in the Chaos Temple? I need to find a medicinal pill for one of my juniors to refine a drop of the Golden Crow blood essence of a peak-level saint. Do you have any recommendations? Gong Xing was puzzled. Didn't Senior Dong Yang's disciple awaken the Torch Dragon bloodline? Why was it the Great Sun Golden Crow bloodline now? But in order not to arouse the dissatisfaction of this powerful figure, he quickly said, the Golden Crow bloodline, the Kuan-Pung bloodline, and the Qilin bloodline are among the three most popular divine beast bloodlines among cultivators. There are many medicinal pills that can neutralize the Golden Crow blood essence. May I know what realm your junior is at now? Different realms will allow different medicinal pills to be consumed. Green Netherworld Realm. Green Netherworld Realm. Consuming the Golden Crow blood essence of a peak-level saint? No wonder he's a junior related to a powerful figure. He's rich and imposing. Gong Xing murmured enviously in his heart, but his brain quickly thought of an answer. If he's at the Green Netherworld Realm, the Falling Sun pill is the best choice. It's a 10th grade medicinal pill. Not only can it perfectly neutralize the power of the Golden Crow blood essence, it can also activate and purify one's Golden Crow vital energy. Its effects are extraordinary. The next best would be the Flame Destruction pill. It's more effective for neutralizing the Golden Crow blood essence, but it can't purify vital energy or disintegrate the impurities in it. How much are the Falling Sun pill and the Flame Destruction pill? Does the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce sell them? Medicinal pills often have the power of heaven and earth. The price is half a level higher than divine weapons. As a 10th grade medicinal pill, the Falling Sun pill is usually sold for around 25 Taoist rhymes. I can help you get a price of 22 Taoist rhymes at most. As for the Flame Destruction pill, it's a 9th grade medicinal pill. 6 Taoist rhymes is enough. 20 Taoist rhymes. Xinghui had a total of 32 Taoist rhymes on him, but he had to leave behind 15 Taoist rhymes to repay his debt to Heaven Vault. He was 5 Taoist rhymes away from 22. Heaven Vault doesn't send anyone to Eastern Wilderness for trade for 3 to 5 years. I'm not in a hurry to get those 15 Taoist rhymes. I'll just use those to make up for it. In these 3 to 5 years, I'll make a few more trips on behalf of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. Then, I'll have enough Taoist rhymes. Xinghui had already made up his mind. Prepare the Falling Sun pill for me. I'll go to Martial Desolation City in a month. Also prepare the spiritual imprint of the last traitor for me. A month? Gong Xing was pleasantly surprised. The senior in front of him only needed a month to get through the weak phase. The incarnation technique was at least at the second stage. Yes, I'll prepare it for you. I'll congratulate you at the branch in a month. Gongxing bowed respectfully. Xinghui nodded. After waiting for a while, he received the trader's spiritual imprint from Gongxing and left the Chaos Temple. Then, he activated the incarnation technique and traveled 30 million kilometers through the trader's spiritual imprint. He landed on a medium-sized continent and completed the trade. Because he still had a lot of things to deal with, Xinghui didn't want to be distracted and wander around this medium-sized continent after completing the trade. He returned directly to Moon Lake Island. No matter how prosperous a medium-sized island was, it couldn't be compared to Heaven Vault. This could be seen from the huge gap between Eastern Wilderness and Heaven Vault. I'll have to delay the use of the teleportation technique for another month. Xinghui sat in his personal space and glanced at the interface of the Son of Chaos with a worried look on his face. In fact, the reason why he didn't want to use the teleportation technique for so long was because he had a lot of things to deal with. The most important thing was, he had no confidence. The greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. He didn't know how he would face the result if he couldn't return to Earth, even after using the teleportation technique. Failure meant that he could only pin his hopes on the vacuum crushing technique. The vacuum crushing technique was the third level of the divine realm. It took him 5 to 6 years to cultivate to the 5th level of the immortality realm. If he wanted to cross the 6th level of the immortality realm, the 6th level of the saint realm, and the 3rd level of the divine realm, it would take more than a few years or decades. It took Dongqian 240 years to condense vital essence from the 1st level of the saint realm to the 1st level of the divine realm, the domain realm. It took a whole 700 years to reach the vacuum crushing technique from the domain realm. What about him? It was because of this mentality that he convinced himself time and time again that he had already waited for a few years. Why bother with a few more months? But he had to face this problem in the end. With a sigh, Xinghui put away the many distracting thoughts in his mind and stopped thinking about it. No matter what, he had to take this step in a month. Sir. While Xinghui was silent, Ling Yu's figure suddenly appeared in his personal space. Xinghui glanced at Ling Yu and realized that he was in the public space of his personal space, which was the area used by the Primordial Trade Union. Any Son of Chaos could freely enter and leave this area with a spell. Alliance Master, there's something I need to report to you. Ling Yu looked at Xinghui and hesitated for a moment before speaking carefully. What is it? It's about the Life Alliance's development in the East Sea. Golden Edge Island? Could it be that Golden Edge Island has become a hotspot? If there's really nothing we can do about it, we can just get the sea beasts to stir up a storm and completely destroy Golden Edge Island. Not Golden Edge Island, but the Creation Mystical Sect. The Creation Mystical Sect? Xinghui frowned, somewhat puzzled. What are the Creation Mystical Sect's people doing? Half a month ago, we detected traces of people from the Creation Mystical Sect. They were sneaking around our East Sea region and seemed to be up to something. Dozens of overseas cultivators who happened to stumble upon them were killed by them. However, the news spread. During this period of time, we have sent people to investigate in detail, trying to figure out the purpose of their infiltration into the East Sea. However, we have yet to obtain any useful information. The Creation Mystical Sect? A few years ago, the Creation Mystical Sect was defeated, and now they're making a comeback. Xinghui's mind was now focused on the teleportation technique. He wanted to see if the teleportation technique could return to Earth. The Life Alliance wouldn't make any big moves in the coming year, and even the matter of Golden Edge Island could be put aside for a while. Under such circumstances, he really didn't want to have a conflict with the Creation Mystical Sect. Send people to investigate carefully. If the Creation Mystical Sect is just playing some small tricks, you can deal with it. If they're up to something big, contact the Hunyuan Heaven Sect directly. I need to find a secret place to cultivate in seclusion and break through to the prominent saint stage. If I'm fast, it'll take a year. And if I'm slow, it'll take 2 years. If there's nothing else, don't disturb me during this time. Master is going to break through to the prominent saint stage? If Master can break through to the prominent saint stage, you'll definitely condense a divine-grade battle body. Once a divine-grade battle body is formed, there won't be many people in the world who can rival Master. Ling Yu's face immediately lit up with surprise. Moreover, her words weren't false. Once Xing Hui broke through to the prominent saint stage and condensed a divine-grade battle body, coupled with the divine art to push his cultivation to the saint stage, he would receive an endless supply of energy. Let alone prominent saint stage experts, he would even be able to defeat first-tier saint stage experts. Apart from transcendent experts, no one would be able to resist Xing Hui's sharpness. After all, no one in the entire eastern wilderness had heard of anyone who had condensed a divine-grade battle body. The number of transcendent second-layer saints in the eastern wastelands could be counted with 2 hands. By then, it would not be strange at all for the Qing Su Ruin's battle prowess to enter the top 10 of the eastern wastelands rankings under the effects of the divine art. It's good that you understand the importance of this matter. If the Creation Mystical Sect really wants to attack the Life Alliance, it's fine to retreat for the time being. When I break through to the prominent saint stage and condense a divine-grade battle body, I'll be able to uproot Golden Edge Island and the Creation Mystical Sect's overseas forces. Yes, your subordinate obeys. Chapter 293. Senior Dongyang, this is the fallen sun pill you need. In the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, Gong Xing was still the one in charge of receiving Xing Hui. Very good. Xing Hui held the fallen sun pill in his hand with satisfaction, a faint smile on his face. The falling sun pill was a treasure that was even more precious than the roaming dragon blood transformation powder. Even if it wasn't for the purpose of neutralizing the golden crow's blood essence, swallowing such a pill would bring immeasurable benefits to any practitioner of the golden crow's bloodline. The effect of greatly purifying one's Zhenqi was enough to save a normal practitioner 3 to 5 years of refining their Zhenqi. Senior Dongyang, our Martial Desolate City Chamber of Commerce's goods are obviously unable to meet Senior Dongyang's needs. For the next transaction, could Senior Dongyang please move to the Cloud City branch for the transaction? After handing over the fallen sun pill, Gong Xing asked hopefully, Cloud City? Xing Hui glanced at Gong Xing. President Gong Xing has been promoted? The higher-ups do have this intention, but this junior will still focus on Senior Dongyang's opinion. If you feel that it is more troublesome to go to Cloud City to trade, then I will resign from the higher-ups arrangement and concentrate on serving Senior Dongyang in Martial Desolate City. That's not necessary. Cloud City is one of the top 20 cities in the Desolate Divine region. The Cloud City branch is probably ranked in the top 5 among the many branches of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. This kind of branch can undoubtedly mobilize more resources, and it will be more convenient for me to purchase any kind of heaven and earth treasures. Xing Hui said, although the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce was a famous top chamber of commerce in the Heaven Wasteland region, and had the backing of an invincible divine realm powerhouse like the Myriad Star Sect, the resources it could sell were still limited to those below the level of the Almighty. The treasures that could be used by the Almighty were rarely sold. Even if there were a few that occasionally appeared, they would only be auctioned off in some large auctions. The entire Chamber of Commerce only targeted those below the Almighty level. Among the many branches in the Martial Desolate City, the quality of materials that could be distributed could be imagined. Xing Hui had already carefully looked around the Martial Desolate City branch earlier. Although there were many heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and there was no lack of level 10 divine weapons, the main trading class was still targeted at the 3 great realms of unity of spirit and qi, blue darkness, and vision domain. There were not many goods that were beneficial to true essence and transformative realm experts. Every time Xing Hui wanted to buy something, Gong Xing would have to go to other branches to gather supplies. A round trip would often waste 1 or 2 days, which was extremely inconvenient. Now that Gong Xing had risen to become the president of the Red Cloud City branch, it would be much more efficient for him to buy or sell some valuable items. Since this junior will be able to serve Senior Dongyang better, if I go to the Yunxia City branch, then this junior will agree and go to Yunxia City to take up the post. Go. The next time I want to trade with you, I will contact you in the Chaos Temple in advance. Yes, this junior will definitely organize the many businesses in Yunxia City as quickly as possible and wait for Senior's next visit. Xing Hui nodded to Gong Xing, and then, without wasting any more time, directly dissipated this incarnation and returned to the Life League cultivation room. I finally got the meteorite pill. Next, Xing Hui looked at the meteorite pill in his hand, and a trace of hesitation flashed in his eyes. Next, should he take the meteorite pill, then refine the Golden Crow soul essence, condense the Golden Crow battle body, and step into the vision domain stage, or use the teleportation technique to try to go to the world of Earth? Xing Hui's mind was undoubtedly more inclined to take the meteorite pill to break through to the vision domain stage, but his reason told him that escaping was not the way. Whether the teleportation technique could directly return to the world of Earth, he would have to face it sooner or later. The sooner he used the teleportation technique, the sooner he would know what to do next. Huff! Xing Hui closed his eyes and let out a long breath, clearing all the distracting thoughts in his mind. Teleportation technique. There was no hesitation. The moment he cleared all the distracting thoughts, he did not hesitate and forcibly cut off the distracting thoughts, directly activating the teleportation technique. In that instant, his thoughts were constantly raised, as if he had entered a higher dimension, and the illusion that all the worlds in the universe were in front of him surged in his mind. The place where I parted with senior sister Jiang Ningji was the Eastern Sun Sword sect. Then, the place where we will reunite will also start from the Eastern Sun Sword sect. Many scenes flashed in Xing Hui's mind, and finally, it stopped at the ancestral hall in the back mountain of the Eastern Sun Sword sect. The Heavenly Book Stone Wall. The destination of the teleportation was the ancestral hall, where the Heavenly Book Stone Wall was located. It's here. Xing Hui's mind was clear, and all the distracting thoughts retreated, leaving only the scenes in the ancestral hall in the back mountain. Teleport. Buzz buzz. As Xing Hui finally activated the teleportation technique, he felt as if he had been fished out of an ocean, and an unprecedented vast world appeared in an instant. That kind of vastness could not be described with words. The moment his body leaped into this vast world, an unprecedented feeling surged in his mind. Freedom, freedom, as if he had escaped from a prison, filled his mind. A trapped dragon rising to the sky, a fish swimming in the sea, an eagle soaring in the sky. Endless thoughts kept surging in Xing Hui's mind. However, this feeling only lasted for a moment. After being in this high-dimensional state for who knows how long, Xing Hui suddenly felt that the mysterious force that had fished him out of the ocean gradually dissipated. The teleportation is over? Xing Hui still could not help but widen his eyes. The truth of whether he could return to Earth or not seemed to be completely revealed in the next moment. Buzz buzz. The mysterious force that had fished him out of the ocean suddenly shook, and then it fell down at an indescribable speed. Countless distances and spaces were left behind by a kind of distorted time at this moment. Then the suffocating feeling of falling back into the ocean surged in his mind. This feeling kept colliding and rubbing against his mind, making him dizzy. When he almost couldn't bear this dizzying force anymore, many of the strange feelings suddenly dissipated, and a feeling of stepping on solid ground and regaining his physical body surged in his mind. Xing Hui quickly opened his eyes and looked around. An extremely dim cave appeared in front of him. This is... Xing Hui widened his eyes and tried to see the appearance of the entire cave with the help of the faint light that leaked through the cracks in the wall. Familiar. This cave had an aura that he was extremely familiar with. In the dim light, dense mysterious characters and runes filled the entire cave. Even though he couldn't see any of the runes or murals clearly due to the dim light, he could still sense a familiar aura from those runes and murals. Ancestral Hall. These are the same runes as the cave in the Ancestral Hall. Yes. This is it. I'm back on Earth. Sing Hui's eyes were filled with uncontrollable ecstasy. Although he faintly felt that it was a little strange, the destination in his mind was hundreds of millions of light years away from the destination of the teleportation spell. But he did not know why. But he finally came back. He came back to the mysterious cave full of runes where the ancestral hall was located. Earth, my parents' family, and Ningji. Sing Hui took a deep breath and suppressed the surging thoughts in his heart. I, Sing Hui, am finally back. Sing Hui stretched out his trembling right hand, and soon, a glowing sunstone appeared in his hand. Immediately, the sunstone illuminated an area with a radius of tens of meters around Sing Hui. As the light illuminated the entire cave, the scene in the cave appeared clearly in front of Sing Hui. Sing Hui's face that was originally full of surprise, excitement, anticipation, and uneasiness suddenly froze. Cave. It was indeed a cave. The cave was also full of runes that Sing Hui had seen on the heavenly tombstone wall in the ancestral hall. Even the contents of the runes, and the style of the runes, were almost exactly the same. But Sing Hui did not see the heavenly tombstone wall in the cave. Even the layout of the cave was quite different from the one in the ancestral hall. This was not a cave. This was not the same cave. Sing Hui's face was faintly pale. He raised his head and looked at the faint glimmer of light on the stone wall. Rumble. After a moment, Sing Hui suddenly waved his hand, and the rocks and soil in front of the cave were all lifted up by a huge force. The cave entrance that had been filled with collapsed rocks and soil suddenly appeared, and the sunlight from the outside world spilled in. Whoosh! Sing Hui's figure flashed, and in an instant, he appeared outside the cave and looked up. Blue sky, white clouds, mountains, forests, rivers, and between the mountains and forests, there were hundreds of courtyards, lofts, and palaces that were obviously not of the style of the earth. Why? Is it not? Even though he had been mentally prepared after seeing the cave that was different from the ancestral hall of the Dongyang sword sect, Sing Hui still showed a trace of pain on his face when his hope was mercilessly torn apart. It was not earth. Sing Hui's movement had obviously attracted the attention of the people in the courtyards, lofts, and palaces in the distance. As waves of aura soared into the sky, several figures quickly rushed in this direction. Who dares to break into the Purple Cloud Palace? As the aura circulated, there were even more fierce shouts coming from afar. Sing Hui sensed a little, and suddenly his face changed. The Transcendent State. The leader of the group was actually a Transcendent State expert. The rest, without exception, had all reached the true Essence State. Retreat. Without any hesitation, Sing Hui directly took out his 9th-rank flying sword, flowing fire, and shot toward the horizon like a stream of flame, disappearing in the blink of an eye. What a fast speed! Don't chase a cornered enemy. Be careful. It's a trick to lure the tiger away from the mountain. That's strange. It's true that this back mountain was the ancestral land of our Purple Cloud Palace 3,000 years ago. However, after our Purple Cloud Palace became a supreme sect in the world of good fortune 3,000 years ago, we occupied an area of 100,000 miles around the Pillar of Heaven's mountains. This ancestral land has been abandoned, and many of the precious treasures inside have been moved away. What's left behind are some strange runes that no one knows the meaning of. Therefore, only a few old fellows like us are left here to guard our old home. The few Transcendent State elders looked at the figure that was quickly disappearing into the horizon on the flying sword and felt strange, but they did not continue to chase. Chapter 294. In the end, I didn't return to Earth. In a quaint restaurant, Sing Hui sat on the second floor of the window, looking down at the people coming and going, and sighed. The style of the restaurant was rather quaint. Compared to the architectural style of the East Wasteland, Heaven Wasteland, Chongzhen, and other places, it was more similar to the buildings of the ancient Huaxia period on Earth. But similar was only similar, not completely the same. Moreover, this place was not the Middle Age of ancient Huaxia. Sing Hui carefully recalled the little things he felt when he used the transmission technique. He could feel that he had crossed hundreds of millions of miles, under the effect of the transmission technique. This distance could not be measured with words. But so what if it was further? In the end, he did not return to Earth. With a trace of sadness, Xinghui looked down at the endless stream of people. The city was filled with an ancient charm. The layout was also quite spacious and reasonable. After all, this was a world where cultivators lived, even if these buildings followed the style of ancient Wuxia. But in terms of scale, cleanliness, and grandeur, it was far from being comparable to any city in ancient Wuxia. I don't know where this place is, Xinghui muttered to himself. As he looked up, the number of cultivators that appeared on the street was not small. Among these cultivators, there were some in the mortal realm, and some in the immortal realm. However, the immortal realm cultivators were mostly in the awakening and true qi realms. The number of spirit refining realm cultivators was much lesser. As for the spirit and qi unity realm cultivators, although they would appear occasionally, they were obviously of high status. They were usually surrounded by groups of people and relied on their own strength. As for the saint realm, Xinghui did not notice. In the entire city, the strongest person he sensed was a prominent divine expert. It must be known that the place he was at was actually less than 3,000 kilometers away from the Purple Cloud Palace that had several transcendent realm cultivators. The city could be said to be prosperous and resplendent, but in such a large city, there was only one prominent divine expert. It could be seen that in terms of cultivation level, this continent was far from being comparable to Heaven Wasteland. It was normal that it could not be compared to Heaven Wasteland. After all, Xinghui sensed that the qi of heaven and earth on this continent was inferior to that of the East Wilderness and Chongzhen. Xinghui was baffled by the existence of a transcendent state cultivator on such a continent. Teleportation has a cooldown of 1 year. However, if I upgrade teleportation's tier, not only will the cooldown decrease, but even the teleportation distance will increase. I wonder if tier 10 teleportation can send me directly to Earth. Qing Su glanced at the Primal Chaos level in his Primal Chaos Temple interface. With the opening of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, the amount of Taoist aura that he had obtained from the Fortune Godly Jade had reached a balance. If it was in the past, after 1 or 2 months of seclusion in the Eastern Wilderness, his Taoist aura would have reached the 31st level. However, due to the consumption of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, he could only increase his Taoist aura to the 31st level through items that carried Taoist aura. Items that carried Taoist aura. Well, I'll learn more about this continent and see if I can obtain enough items that carried Taoist aura. In addition, in the cave that I was teleported to, there was a mysterious rune that was exactly the same as the one in the Ancestral Master Hall of the East Sun Sword sect. Is there a connection between the two places? If there's a chance, I must sneak in and find out. A light flashed across Xinghui's eyes as a bold conjecture appeared in his mind. Back then, he had inexplicably appeared in the Eastern Wasteland during the bloody battle with the besiegers in the Ancestral Hall of the Eastern Sun Sword sect. Until now, he still had not figured out the reason. Now that a similar place had appeared, he vaguely saw the hope of uncovering this secret. Unfortunately, there were several transcendent state cultivators guarding that place. Not to mention Xinghui, who was only in the blue netherworld realm. Even if he had entered the Vision Divine stage, after refining the Golden Crow's soul essence, he would only have a dead end if he was besieged by several transcendent state cultivators. This was a terrifying force that was not inferior to the Wuji Sword sect, which was ranked second among the 10 great saint sects in the Eastern Wilderness. Just as Xinghui was pondering, a shout came from the crowd on the street below. Then they quickly rushed in a direction. He vaguely heard someone shouting, "The day of the Purple Cloud Palace's Triennial Mountain Gate opening is coming. Last time, I regretfully failed and did not pass the test. This time, no matter what, I must join the Purple Cloud Palace, cultivate the immortal spells, and see the great way of immortality." The Purple Cloud Palace. That mysterious cave is located in the ancestral land behind the Purple Cloud Palace's abandoned mountain. Xinghui's heart skipped a beat. He saw 2 young cultivators in the true qi realm, at the table in front of him standing up, as if they wanted to join in the fun. He immediately went forward and said, "Please wait." The two cultivators in the true Qi realm were about to be displeased when they were stopped. However, when they felt the powerful and unfathomable aura from Xing Hui, their faces changed. They quickly squeezed out a smile and said, "Senior, what can I do for you? I was traveling around this place and heard people talking about the Purple Cloud Palace's disciple recruitment. I was curious and wanted to ask the two of you about it. I wonder if the two of you can tell me. Senior, you are not from the Middle Continent." One of them was slightly startled. "I came from another place." "I see. Senior, how about we talk as we walk?" "Of course, please. This is Wen Pingji. This is my junior brother, Wen Zaiji. Senior, how should I address you?" "My name is Dong Yang." "Senior Dong Yang, you came from another place. Senior, you should know about the Purple Cloud Palace's disciple recruitment. It is one of the 6 supreme sects of the human race. It has set the destiny of the human race and opened up a paradise in the endless wilderness for the hundreds of millions of people of the human race to reproduce. Although the 6 supreme sects had to withdraw from the Middle Continent due to the Great War 3,000 years ago, it is still the center of the world where the human race lives and reproduces. The 6 supreme sects still left branches in the Middle Continent. The Purple Cloud Palace, 3,000 kilometers away from Tongyan City, is a branch of the 6 supreme sects. I have seen the Purple Cloud Palace's mountain gate. It is indeed magnificent." Xing Hui followed their conversation. Although the Purple Cloud Palace of the Central Plains can't be compared to the headquarters of the Purple Cloud Palace of the Sky Pillar Mountain, as a supreme sect with immortals overseeing it, it still imparts a large number of immortality techniques and top-notch immortal techniques. Some talented people can even be sent to the headquarters of the Purple Cloud Palace of the Central Plains to cultivate in the Spirit Mountain blessed land of the headquarters of the Sky Pillar Mountain. In the future, they might be able to condense the immortal golden core, step into the immortal Tao, seize the world's lifespan of 3,000 years, and live forever. Immortality Golden Core. There is a level 4 Saint Overlord in the Purple Cloud Palace. Xing Hui's heart sank. He had thought that transcendent state overlords were the limit given the poor essence Qi on this continent. He had never thought that there would be someone who had formed the Immortality Golden Core in the Purple Cloud Palace. This completely ruined his plan to occupy the mysterious cave and study the talisman inscriptions. "Senior, if you want to go to the Purple Cloud Palace, why don't we go together?" When Pingji suggested enthusiastically, "I have achieved something in my cultivation. Can I also cultivate in the Purple Cloud Palace? As long as you have a clean background, why not? Even Saint Overlords who have formed true essence can enter the Purple Cloud Palace and become an elder, let alone immortality realm cultivators like us. In the future, if you make a contribution, you will be able to obtain the secret immortal skills of the Purple Cloud Palace. It won't be difficult for you to live a long life." Xing Hui heard this and shook his head. "I still plan to travel around the continent. If I stay in the same place for a long time, I'm afraid I won't be able to get used to it. I won't go with you." When Pingji and Wen Zaiji heard this and immediately felt that it was a pity. At first glance, they could tell that Xing Hui was a unity of divine Qi and a blue underworld overlord. If they could build a good relationship with such an overlord before entering the Purple Cloud Palace and receive his care, their cultivation path would be smoother in the future. After bidding farewell to the two, Xing Hui left Tongyan City and headed to the outskirts. There were many people in Tongyan City. He didn't want to arouse the suspicion of some people, so he didn't want to ask too many questions. Xing Hui rode on his sword and traveled quickly through the mountains. After traveling for less than 600 kilometers, a stronghold in the mountain range appeared before his eyes. There were about 200 people in this stronghold. Most of them were at the 6th realm of the mortal realm, but the leader was also at the true Qi realm. These people looked fierce, and their bodies were surrounded by a baleful aura. They were definitely not kind people. Immediately, Xing Hui suppressed his sword light and whizzed towards the true Qi realm overlord. The sword light was biting cold, and the room that the true Qi realm overlord stayed in was torn apart by the sword Qi, causing stone fragments to fly everywhere. Who dares to offend my white tiger stronghold? A furious roar came from the room. However, in the next second, Xing Hui's majestic aura pressed down, causing the white tiger stronghold master to turn pale with fright. When he saw Xing Hui approaching on his sword, he quickly shouted, "Spare me!" Buzz! Xing Hui waved his hand and directly knocked the true Qi realm stronghold master unconscious. Then he wrapped the stronghold master's body with true Qi and shot into the sky again. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. The many awakening realm and mortal realm cultivators, who had witnessed the fate of their leader, were immediately scared witless. No one dared to make a sound. Whoosh! Xing Hui rode on his sword for 600 kilometers and landed on a barren mountain again. He threw the white tiger stronghold master to the ground and woke him up. The white tiger stronghold master, who woke up, was slightly startled. Then, he quickly knelt and kowtowed to Xing Hui. "Senior, spare me. Senior, spare me. My white tiger stronghold has plundered many resources these years. If Senior needs them, please take them. I only ask that Senior can spare my life. I have something to ask you. If your answer satisfies me, I might spare your life." When the white tiger stronghold master heard this, he immediately let out a sigh of relief. He quickly said, "Senior, feel free to ask. I will definitely tell you everything I know. I'm from another continent. I came to this continent by chance. Tell me the name of this continent and how large it is." "The name of the continent? How large is it?" The white tiger stronghold master was slightly startled. "You're a true Qi realm cultivator. You're not a nobody. It can't be that you don't even know the name of this continent, right?" The white tiger stronghold master's face immediately revealed a bitter expression, but he didn't dare not answer. He could only rack his brains and say, "The continent we're on is tens of millions of kilometers long. It's said that there was once an almighty person who wanted to measure this place. After many years, he still couldn't find anything. Although this is only a rumor, but it can be seen how large the continent is. As for the name of the continent, I once heard a disciple of the Purple Cloud Palace call our world the Fortune World. As for whether or not it's true, I'm not sure." "Fortune World?" Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat. He immediately thought of the mysterious cave that was similar to the Dongyang Sword Sect's ancestral hall. This Fortune World, it wouldn't be related to the Fortune Jade in his possession, right? Chapter 295. Due to the failure of the teleportation technique, Qing Su was dispirited and absent-minded when he failed to return to Earth. As a result, he failed to notice the various differences on this continent. Now that he heard the White Tiger Stronghold Master mention the Fortune Continent and the Purple Firmament Palace, he immediately became interested. Since he failed to return to Earth, he naturally had to work hard to break through to the void-shattering realm. "Wait here," Xing Hui said to the White Tiger Stockade's chief. He separated a part of his consciousness and entered his personal space, then directly pinched the spiritual imprint in his personal space. In a flash, Xing Hui stepped into the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. "So it's Your Excellency Pak Hui. I wonder if Your Excellency Pak Hui has found the treasure?" The cultivation technique was given to him by Heaven's Inquisition, so the person in charge of receiving him was naturally Heaven's Inquisition. "There's not even a shadow of it," Xing Hui said and went straight to the point. "I'm looking for you this time, because I want to ask you about a continent." "Continent? Okay, I wonder which continent Your Excellency Pak Hui wants to know about?" Although Heaven's Inquisition felt that Xing Hui's request was strange, he quickly got into character. "Fortune Continent. Fortune Continent." Heaven's Inquisition was slightly stunned, then he racked his brains. "There are more than 1,000 continents in the entire Heaven Wasteland Sea. I really don't have any impression of this Fortune Continent. Could it be an island? No, it's at least 100,000 li in diameter." This was the reason why Xing Hui had asked the White Tiger Stockade's chief about the continent's circumference. If it was a continent, the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion basically had information about it. However, if he landed on an island, Even the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion might not be able to collect information about all the islands in the vast sea. 100,000 li in diameter, it's definitely not an island. Please wait for a moment. Your Excellency Pak Hui, I'll request to use a high-level authority to investigate the Divine Secrets Pavilion's database. Heaven's Inquisition bowed slightly to Tsing Hui and quickly diverted his attention to investigate. Not long after, a scroll appeared out of thin air. Heaven's Inquisition caught the scroll and said with a bitter smile, "So it's a continent like this. Why is Your Excellency Pak Hui looking for information about this continent?" "There's no need to ask. Once you have the information, just name your price." Although we do have the information we obtained from the Divination Pavilion is still very little. In fact, we only have a rough idea. Tsing Hui couldn't help but feel a little surprised when he heard this. If it were an island, it's understandable that your Divination Pavilion doesn't know much about them. However, the Divination Pavilion doesn't even have detailed information about a continent. As far as I know, that continent is not small. Not only is it not small, it can only be described as vast, and is not inferior to a large continent. However, Your Excellency Pak Hui, do you know how far this continent is from Heaven Wasteland? Oh, how far? 180 million kilometers. How far? Tsing Hui's eyes widened. You heard it right. 180 million kilometers. Tsing Hui couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air when he heard this. There's a continent 180 million kilometers away? You should know that the 1,000 or so continents on Heaven Wasteland were all formed from the ancient divine wilderness. During the ancient divine wilderness 10,000 years ago, there were countless peak experts. Not only were there giants who had cultivated domains, but there were also invincible existences who could shatter the vacuum and even condense divine true bodies. They could jump out of the latitude of our world and travel freely in the high-level chaotic space. Distance was nothing to them. When they fought with all their might, it wasn't difficult for them to cause the void to collapse, causing some continents to fall into chaos and drift hundreds of millions of kilometers away. The strength of the fierce beasts and sea beasts 50 to 60 million kilometers away would increase by leaps and bounds, making it almost impossible for humans to survive. Then why are there still humans living on continents 180 million kilometers away? 50 to 60 million kilometers away is indeed a fierce beast paradise, but the limit of our world seems to be less than 100 million kilometers. After 100 million kilometers, the world's origin energy will gradually decline, and the truly powerful fierce beasts will consciously gather in the 50 to 100 million kilometers area. After 150 million kilometers, the number of fierce beasts and sea beasts will gradually decrease, and their strength will also decrease. This gives humans a chance to breathe in that area. The Fortune mainland is one of the few places where humans gather at the end of the world. So that's how it is. The moment Tsing Hui stepped onto the Fortune mainland, he had already sensed that the Fortune mainland's origin energy was severely lacking. Compared to the East Wasteland, Zhongzhen and other places, the Fortune mainland's origin energy was still lacking. He had always found it strange that those kinds of continents could give birth to transformative realm masters. Miss Pak Hui should understand that the incarnation technique's energy consumption is directly related to the incarnation strength, as well as the distance it descends. Moreover, there is also a limit to this distance. After the incarnation technique's range exceeds 100 million kilometers, the energy consumption will increase exponentially with every 10 million kilometers. In the past, there was a great master who sighed at the wonders of the Fortune mainland's cultivation system, actually being able to cultivate to the false core realm with the help of heaven and earth treasures, snatching 3,000 years of life from the heavens. He wanted to send his incarnation down to trade for this technique. In the end, when his incarnation descended, that great master was weakened for 6 whole years, and it took him a whole 20 years to recover. 6 years? 20 years? That's right. That great master felt that the weakening effect was too terrifying, so he quickly stopped the incarnation technique before the trader arrived. Otherwise, the weakening period would have been even longer. Speaking of this, Heaven's Inquisition seemed to have thought of something, and he added, "As far as I know, that great master's incarnation technique was not at the first level but the third level. The third level incarnation technique actually took 20 years to recover. This is also the reason why we don't know much about the Fortune mainland. Most of the information we know about the Fortune mainland comes from the Sons of Chaos on the Fortune mainland. However, due to the small number of Sons of Chaos on the Fortune mainland and the lack of Dao treasures, there aren't many transactions between the Fortune mainland and Heaven Wasteland. A mainland that's isolated from the rest of the world." Xinghui sighed. It seemed that the teleportation technique had probably reached the limit of the distance of one world. After realizing that it couldn't send him to the correct destination, it just threw him into a cave similar to the ancestral hall for the sake of convenience. This incarnation technique, scam. Wait a minute. Did you just say that it's a fake pill? Those cultivators on the Fortune mainland, who have condensed the immortal golden core, are refining fake pills? What's going on? The fake pill technique can increase one's lifespan by 3,000 years. Later on, we invited an ancestor who had raised his incarnation technique to the 5th level to exchange for this fake pill technique from the Fortune mainland. This is a pill technique that can condense a life golden core, but there's nothing mysterious about it. Moreover, in order to maintain this fake pill, the cultivator needs to constantly inject their true essence into the fake pill, snatching one's lifespan from the heavens. Every year they cultivate, they can only gain 1 year of lifespan, which seriously affects their future cultivation. Compared to the real immortal golden core, the fake pill technique is far inferior. As a result, no one is willing to go to the Fortune mainland anymore. There was a trace of regret on Heaven's Inquisition's face as he continued. Of course, the most important thing is that terrifying weakening effect. That ancestor who had raised his incarnation technique to the 5th level was also weakened for an entire year, and it would take him 3 to 4 years to fully recover. Unfortunately, while he was weakened, an enemy of his came knocking on his door and killed him. Because of this lesson, unless the people on the Fortune mainland were willing to pay a huge price, no one would be willing to trade with him. As time passed, the Fortune mainland also lost contact with him. The information in my hand was compiled 300 years ago, and it can't be considered detailed. If you want, I can sell it to you privately for the price of a 5th level divine weapon. I want it. Xinghui agreed without hesitation. All right, I believe that with your identity, you won't take it for yourself. Heaven's Inquisition directly handed the scroll to Xinghui, without even signing the contract. Qing Su received the scroll and flipped it open very quickly to read through it. Fortune mainland 6 supreme sects. Xinghui looked through the information one by one. Unfortunately, as Heaven's Inquisition had said, this information was only a few words, roughly describing the distribution of forces on the Fortune mainland. Forget about giving Xinghui a detailed understanding of the 6 supreme sects. He didn't even know how many experts there were on the Fortune mainland. Nothing good is cheap. In less than an hour, Xinghui sighed and put down the scroll. There are almost no Dao carrying treasures on the Fortune mainland. Moreover, due to the distance between the two mainlands, there aren't any supreme experts who would send their incarnations to trade with the Fortune mainland. As time passed, the connection between the two mainlands and the Fortune mainland was naturally severed. In fact, according to some inaccurate information I've obtained, due to the large number of fierce beasts on the Fortune mainland, the human race had developed many good things to deal with the various dangers. For example, immortal arts and artifact refining techniques that are different from our heavenly desolate region and eastern desolate region's artifact refining techniques have their merits. It's a pity that these immortal arts and artifact refining techniques are too low level in the eyes of those supreme experts. It's not worth it for them to mobilize a large force, or even use a transmission technique that only a Son of Chaos can use to make a trip to the Fortune mainland. As for those ordinary cultivators who view these treasures as divine artifacts, they don't have the ability to make a trip to the Fortune mainland. Immortal arts? Artifact refining techniques? Yes, these immortal arts and artifact refining techniques are often mysterious and strange. Some immortal arts and artifacts may not be known for their destructive power, but they are extraordinary. In the future, if you meet a son of chaos from the Fortune mainland in the Chaos Shrine, you can talk to them in detail. If you can learn one or two immortal arts from them, you can often display unimaginable effects under certain special circumstances. Xing Hui nodded. Heaven's Inquisition didn't ask why Xing Hui wanted information on the Fortune mainland. No matter how hard he racked his brain, he couldn't imagine that Xing Hui's Chaos Realm had actually reached the 30th Order. When he was teleporting to the Fortune mainland, he had exceeded the range of the transmission technique. Chapter 296. Nameless Mountain Range. Xing Hui regained his senses, and his gaze fell on the White Tiger Stronghold chief, who was trembling with fear. Recalling that Tianwen had mentioned the Fortune mainland's unique immortal arts and artifact refining techniques, Xing Hui pondered for a moment, and said, I want to enter the Purple Cloud Palace to cultivate several top immortal arts and artifact refining techniques. Do you have any methods? The White Tiger Stronghold chief had a bitter expression. The Purple Cloud Palace is one of the 6 supreme sects of our human race. The top immortal arts in the Purple Cloud Palace are equivalent to our human race's most powerful secret techniques. How would I, a small stronghold chief, know how to learn these secret techniques? If Senior really wants to learn those top immortal arts, why don't you join the Purple Cloud Palace and make contributions? As long as you make enough contributions, you may be able to exchange for 1 or 2 top immortal arts to enhance your strength. The Purple Cloud Palace's disciples need to have a clean background. I came from the outside world, so my identity can't withstand scrutiny. How can I gain the Purple Cloud Palace's trust and sneak into the Purple Cloud Palace? Xing Hui snorted coldly. The White Tiger Stronghold chief was at a loss for a moment, as if he had thought of something, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Since Senior came from the outside world, and those powerful sea region overlords couldn't do anything to Senior, then your cultivation must be high, right? If Senior's cultivation is shocking, then you don't need to enter the Purple Cloud Palace. Find a first-rate sect to join, and help that sect to obtain a high enough ranking in the Fortune Divine Jade battle. Then you can obtain the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. At that time, you will definitely be able to comprehend a powerful immortal art from the Fortune Divine Jade, and dominate for a while. Wait a minute, what did you say, Fortune Divine Jade? Xing Hui originally didn't think that this small White Tiger Stronghold chief could give him any good ideas, but when he heard the White Tiger Stronghold chief spit out the words Fortune Divine Jade, his heart trembled, and he impatiently asked, What Fortune Divine Jade? What's so special about this Fortune Divine Jade? Fortune Divine Jade. After so many years, he actually heard the name of the Fortune Divine Jade again. It was a name that was exactly the same as the name of the Fortune Divine Jade in his mind. It should be said that the reason Xing Hui could achieve what he had today, and reach the Blue Hell Realm in a few years, was largely due to the Fortune Divine Jade's continuous improvement in the chaotic realm. Without this Fortune Divine Jade, it was unknown whether he could cultivate Gang Qi or not. When the White Tiger Stronghold chief mentioned the Fortune mainland's most prized treasure, he recovered a trace of vigor. Speaking of this Fortune Divine Jade, it is really blessed by the heavens. It is the top treasure of our Fortune mainland, and it belongs to the wealth of our entire Fortune mainland. Many of the Fortune mainland's immortal arts and treasure refining techniques were comprehended from the Fortune Divine Jade by our ancestors. It is said that the activation of the Fortune Divine Jade requires the use of a mysterious item called Dao Aura. This mysterious item is usually only found by those high and mighty geniuses. Ordinary people don't even know if the Dao Aura is real or fake. When these geniuses find a certain amount of Dao Aura, they can use a special method to let the Fortune Divine Jade absorb and transform it, thus activating the Fortune Divine Jade. Of course, this lowly one has also heard of a legend. It is said that the Fortune Divine Jade has the ability to accumulate this mysterious energy, but the efficiency is extremely slow, and it can only be activated once every 1,000 years. However, no one has confirmed the authenticity of this legend. The Fortune Divine Jade has the mysterious ability to absorb Tao aura. Yes, it can't be wrong. This must be the Fortune Divine Jade. There was a trace of excitement in Xing Hui's eyes. How could the Fortune Divine Jade that had merged with him not have the ability to increase one Tao aura every day? However, it could only be activated once every 1,000 years. Didn't that mean that to activate the Fortune Divine Jade once, it would cost a total of 365,000 Tao aura? Wasn't the Fortune mainland lacking in Tao aura? How could they accumulate 365,000 Tao aura to activate it? The conditions to activate the Fortune Divine Jade are so harsh. How could the Fortune mainland activate it? Harsh. The head of the White Tiger stronghold was stunned. After a while he nodded and said, "That is quite harsh. Only sects with 10 Tao rhymes have the right to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade after activating it. Once 100 sects have accumulated 1,000 Tao rhymes and reached the standard of activating the Fortune Divine Jade, these 100 sects will have a competition among the younger generation. Any cultivator under the age of 100 can use this competition to determine the ranking. The sect that ranks first will have the Fortune Divine Jade for a month. The second will have half a month. The third will have 10 days. And the fourth to 10th will have 5 days. Moreover, to ensure the interests of the other sects, each sect can only have one spot. Wait, 1,000 Tao aura? Activating the Fortune Divine Jade only requires 1,000 Tao aura? Xing Hui suddenly asked. Shouldn't it be 365,000 Tao aura? It's exactly 1,000 Tao aura. Senior, you mustn't underestimate this 1,000 Tao aura. Usually, many sects on the mainland, including the 6 supreme sects, would need more than 10 years to gather all the Tao aura. You have to know that the Fortune Divine Jade was originally monopolized by the supreme sections. However, they were too slow in gathering Tao aura, so they publicized the Fortune Divine Jade. They wanted to gather the power of the entire mainland to gather Tao aura and shorten the activation time. After all, when it comes to genius disciples, the 6 supreme sects undoubtedly have a unique advantage. They usually occupy the top 6 spots, and the remaining 4 spots are divided by other sects, so you're saying that the Fortune Divine Jade can only accumulate 1 Tao aura in a year? Xing Hui waved his hand and interrupted the White Tiger Stronghold chief. This should be. Xing Hui looked at the White Tiger Stronghold chief. Although the White Tiger Stronghold chief in front of Huang Xiaolong had the strength of a true qi cultivator, in the entire Fortune mainland, he belonged to the lower echelons. He had no access to any high-level secrets, even though the secret of the Fortune Divine Jade was widely known on the Fortune mainland. When was the last time the Fortune Divine Jade was activated? When will the next time the Fortune Divine Jade was activated? The last time should be 15 years ago, because the discovery of treasures called Tao aura is often dependent on luck, and the more treasures are discovered, the fewer there are left. Therefore, the Fortune Divine Jade's activation time is not fixed. The fastest time it was activated was 1 year, and the slowest time it was a full 43 years. When Xing Hui heard this, he finally understood why the people of the Fortune mainland rarely traded with the people of the Heaven Wasteland world on the level of Tao aura. Moreover, the Chaos Temple rarely saw the Sons of Chaos from the Fortune mainland. The cost was too high. Without enough profit, no almighty expert would descend on the Fortune mainland. Another reason was that these cultivators had fed the Fortune Divine Jade with all the Tao aura treasures. They simply did not have enough Tao aura to trade with them or to raise their cultivation level. The world is so big, nothing is too strange. Xing Hui muttered. The White Tiger Stronghold chief looked at Xing Hui with trepidation, and his heart was filled with apprehension. Where is the Fortune Divine Jade now? The Fortune Divine Jade is usually guarded by the 6 supreme holy sects. Now, it should be the Great Sun Divine Palace's turn. Great Sun Divine Palace. There was no need to guess. This was definitely a sect that cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline, or the shining dragon bloodline? That fortune divine jade is definitely a supreme treasure like my fortune divine jade. But I don't know why, but that fortune divine jade needs a year to accumulate 1 Dao aura, while my fortune divine jade only needs a day. Puzzled, Sing Hui's gaze fell on the White Tiger stronghold chief, and he asked solemnly, I want to take a look at that fortune divine jade. How should I do it? The fortune divine jade is guarded by the Great Sun Divine Palace, and this kind of supreme treasure belongs to the entire fortune mainland. It is definitely guarded by the Great Sun Divine Palace's immortal golden core experts, and they dare not slack off. If Senior wants to take a look, it's too much. Before the White Tiger stronghold chief could finish his words, he seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly added, Senior only wants to take a look at the fortune divine jade? Can't see the real thing? How about a picture? Ching Su also felt that the White Tiger stronghold chief's words made sense. For such a treasure, the supreme sect in charge of safekeeping it on the fortune mainland would definitely mobilize all of its forces to guard it. With more than a dozen Saint Realm experts guarding it, it wasn't something he could covet right now. All right, Senior, please bring me to the nearest city with the Purple Firmament Palace's branch. This fortune divine jade was first discovered by the Purple Firmament Palace's founder, Xiang Jun, and it can be traced back to 4,000 years ago. His portrait is of him holding a picture in one hand and wearing a jade in the other. The picture is a yin-yang diagram that the Purple Firmament Palace refined from the fortune divine jade. This jade is our fortune mainland's supreme treasure, the fortune divine jade. Very good. Sing Hui nodded, then glanced at the White Tiger stronghold chief and said, I already know most of the information I want to know. I will take a look at the fortune divine jade's true appearance myself. As for you, you don't need to follow me. The White Tiger stronghold chief was taken aback. Then his body trembled from head to toe as he pleaded, Senior, Junior has already told Senior everything he knows. Senior, please spare my life on the account that I have told you everything I know. I want to spare you. Unfortunately, you know too much. The moment Sing Hui finished speaking, the White Tiger stronghold chief's eyes widened, and he turned around to flee. In the next moment, a sword light whistled through the air. A sword chi pierced through the back of the White Tiger stronghold chief's head and exited from between his eyebrows. The sword chi's momentum did not diminish as it pierced through an ancient tree and into the ground. Fortune divine jade. After killing the White Tiger stronghold chief, Sing Hui did not linger. He once again soared into the air, flying towards one of the cities he had come from earlier. After traveling 300 kilometers, the city appeared before his eyes. Sing Hui flew above the city on his sword and searched for a moment. Soon, he found a branch of the Purple Cloud Palace on a hill only 3 kilometers away from the city. Sing Hui lowered his sword and landed in front of the Purple Cloud Palace's branch. Seeing Sing Hui fly over on his sword, the 2 disciples guarding the Purple Cloud Palace's branch did not dare to be careless. They cautiously went up and bowed. Senior, may I know why you have come to our Purple Cloud Palace's branch? I have a matter. I would like to visit your branch's dean. Please lead the way, Sing Hui said. The disciple saw that Sing Hui's cultivation was extraordinary, and he had an elegant demeanor. He hesitated for a moment and said, Senior, please follow me to the living room. I will get someone to inform the dean. Sing Hui nodded and followed the disciple into the Purple Cloud Palace's branch. After walking for a while in the branch, Sing Hui seemed to have thought of something. He suddenly said, My family is indebted to the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. Since I have come to the Purple Cloud Palace, please allow me to go to the main hall to burn a stick of incense for the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. The disciple was slightly stunned, but he did not refuse this request. Senior, you are too kind. Since you want to burn incense for our ancestor, this way please. Sing Hui nodded and followed the disciple to the main hall. Soon he stepped into the main hall. In front of the main hall, there was a lifelike portrait of the ancestor that seemed to contain some special charm. Sing Hui did not look at the ancestor's face at all. Instead, his gaze fell on the right hand of the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. Xiang Jun seeing the item in the right hand of the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. Xing Hui finally understood why the White Tiger Stronghold's chief said that the ancestor held a picture in one hand and wore a jade in the other. Jade. It was the Fortune Divine Jade. It looked exactly the same as the Fortune Divine Jade that had merged with Xing Hui's body. This piece of Fortune Divine Jade was cast into a ring and worn on the middle finger of the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. However, it was only 1/10 the size of the Fortune Divine Jade in Xing Hui's hand. Chapter 297. Qing Su glanced at the Fortune Jade in the Ancestral Master's ring. Afterwards, he looked inside himself and found the Fortune Jade that had fused with his mental world. Immediately, he discovered that the Fortune Jade actually had 3 missing corners. There were 3 missing corners, 1 big and 2 small. Among them, 2 of the missing corners accounted for about 1/10 of the entire Fortune Jade, while the bigger one accounted for 1/4 of the entire Fortune Jade. Originally, Qing Su did not pay much attention to the chipped corners. He only thought that the Divine Jade was like that. However, now that he saw the Fortune Jade in the Ancestral Master's ring, he discovered that the Fortune Jade just happened to be compatible with the Fortune Jade in his mental world. The 2 of them were one. I must get my hands on this Fortune Jade, Xing Hui muttered to himself. However, he didn't stop there. He took the incense from the disciple, lit it, bowed slightly, and placed it in the incense burner in front of him. When Xing Hui finished lighting the incense and walked toward the living room, he saw a middle-aged man in a purple gold robe walking toward the living room. Seeing this man, the disciple quickly introduced him to Xing Hui. This is the dean of our Purple Cloud Palace branch, Sage Ziyuan. Dong Yang greets Sage Ziyuan. Dong Yang bowed slightly to the middle-aged man. This city wasn't considered a big one. It was slightly smaller than Tongyan City, so the dean stationed here didn't have a high cultivation base. Like Xing Hui, he was in the Blue Nether Realm. However, Xing Hui was at the peak of the Blue Nether Realm, while Sage Ziyuan was only at the middle stage. You're too kind, Your Excellency Dong Yang. Please come in. Although Sage Ziyuan was a disciple of one of the Purple Cloud Palace's major sects, he didn't put on airs in front of Xing Hui. With a wave of his hand, he led Xing Hui to the living room. After a round of tea and snacks, the purple Taoist cut to the chase. May I know what business you have with us? This matter is related to an ancient tome of the Purple Cloud Palace. I once flipped through some of the tome by chance and found some unknown runes, but I didn't understand what they meant. All these years, I've been thinking of ways to understand the meaning of these runes. Yesterday, I suddenly bought a tome of your esteemed sect in the antique market and found similar runes in that tome. Thus, I couldn't wait to come here and ask for your guidance, Sage Ziyuan. Oh, I wonder what ancient book it is. I've been searching for the meaning of these runes for more than 10 years. When I first obtained the book, I was so agitated that I lost control of my genuine qi and accidentally damaged it. This is also the reason why I'm distressed. I wonder if Your Excellency Dong Yang still remembers how to write those runes. Taoist Ziyuan smiled. The Purple Cloud Palace was a supreme sect, but the Purple Cloud Enlightened Man was only one of the countless branches of the Purple Cloud Palace. Moreover, it was one of the weaker branches. If he could befriend a powerhouse at the peak of the Blue Netherworld realm and make them owe him a favor, he naturally wouldn't refuse. Many thanks, Sage. I do remember some of these runes. Go prepare some ink, paper, and inkstone, Sage Ziyuan said to the attendant at the door. Before long, a few children came with the ink, paper, and inkstone. Xing Hui carefully recalled the many runes in the ancestral hall and vaguely wrote down a dozen or so of them. Sage Ziyuan was slightly taken aback by the runes Xing Hui had written down, but he nodded and said, "These mysterious runes are indeed recorded in some of the tome of our Purple Cloud Palace. Moreover, due to certain special reasons, some of our people have studied these runes for over 1,000 years. Alas, they still haven't been able to decipher all of them, only a rough idea. This shows just how mysterious and obscure these runes are." As time passed, No one apart from a few ancient clans that have been passed down for 3,000 years has studied the meaning of these runes. As a result, it won't be easy for Your Excellency Dong Yang to understand the true meaning of these runes. Are there still people studying these runes in your esteemed sect? I wonder if I could trouble you to tell them that I would like to pay them a visit in person. This Sage Ziyuan hesitated for a moment before saying, currently, the only ones still studying these mysterious runes are the Sea Clan. The Sea Clan used to be one of the largest factions in Purple Cloud Palace, and they once had an ancestor who cultivated endless true qi. However, because they poured a great deal of effort into these runes, they gradually declined over the past few thousand years. Now they don't even have a single true energy realm Saint Realm Elder in the clan. As a result, the Sea Clan didn't retreat to Sky Pillar Mountain like the rest of our sect. Instead, they remain in the original sect of Purple Cloud Palace. Why don't you pay them a visit? Xinghui muttered to himself for a moment before nodding. Thank you for your trouble, Sage Ziyuan. It's no problem. I can't really help you with this matter. Then I'll make a trip to Purple Cloud Palace first, and pay a visit to the Sea Clan. It won't be too late to pay you a visit after I return. No rush, no rush. When the sage of Ziyuan saw how Qing Su was about to leave, he said in a hurry, if Sir Dong Yang goes to visit just like that, you might not be able to meet the family of my superior. If Sir Dong Yang doesn't mind, why don't you become an honorary guest of our branch? Even if you're only an honorary guest, you can still be considered a deacon in Purple Cloud Palace. You won't bring shame to your status as a Blue Netherworld Realm expert. An honorary guest. Xinghui's heart skipped a beat. May I ask what kind of powers an honorary guest has, and what kind of responsibilities an honorary guest has? An honorary guest is a rather revered position in Purple Cloud Palace. Although there are some differences between an honorary guest and a true guest, you can still enjoy all the privileges of a deacon in Purple Cloud Palace. As for your responsibilities, it's entirely up to you, Senior Dong Yang. Normally, if there's something we need to deal with in Purple Cloud Palace, and a disciple's cultivation isn't enough, we'll need the assistance of an honorary guest. You have the right to refuse such requests, but if you don't complete the sect's mission or contribute to Purple Cloud Palace, we won't be able to pass on some of the top treasures, immortal arts, and cultivation methods that belong to Purple Cloud Palace to you. I understand. Xinghui nodded. Since you think so highly of me, I'll respectfully accept. Good. Taoist Purple Cloud smiled and said, please tell me about your cultivation, realm, and background, so that I can report your information to the higher-ups. I'm from Nanjiao Kingdom's Tianjin Guard. My family head is from Falling Cloud Mountain's Tinli village. However, our village suffered a calamity 14 years ago. I'm afraid it won't be easy to investigate this. As for my cultivation and cultivation method, Xinghui pondered for a moment. When he thought about the Blue Netherworld realm strength he had displayed, and the lofty status of a son of chaos on the Fortune continent, he still said, by chance, I obtained the inheritance of a fourth-stage son of chaos. Since then, I've befriended a big shot in the Chaos Shrine. That big shot taught me everything. Inheritance of chaos? Taoist Purple Cloud was both surprised and delighted when he heard Xinghui's identity as a son of chaos. You're actually a son of chaos? Good. What a great opportunity. Good luck. If you're a son of chaos, do you have any treasures on you? Treasures of Tao. Xinghui's heart skipped a beat. I happen to have some. When I was traveling, I was lucky enough to obtain 4 treasures of Tao. 4 Taoist rhymes? That's great. You've succeeded. If you're willing to contribute these 4 Taoist rhymes to the Purple Cloud Palace, we can go to the Purple Cloud Palace and ask you to enter the Sutra Holding Pavilion and choose an immortal technique as a reward. Taoist Purple Cloud's eyes were filled with hope. I want to compete for one of the 10 spots in the Fortune Grand Banquet and comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. These 4 Tao. Comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade? Taoist Purple Cloud sized up Xinghui and calmed down a little. You're not over 100 years old? Nope. Well, it's indeed impressive to reach the peak of the Blue Netherworld realm before the age of 100. But you'll have to face the geniuses carefully groomed by the 6 supreme sects and many first-rate sections. They might not be much weaker than you. Judging from the strength of the top 10 in the past fortune grand banquets, they're usually in the prominent divine stage, or even the true energy stage. Prominent divine stage? True energy stage? That's right. The top 6 of the 6 supreme sects in the last fortune grand banquet were all in the true energy stage without exception. The first and third places have all cultivated saint-grade true energy. Their futures are limitless. The top 6 require the cultivation of the saint realm, so I naturally have no chance of competing. However, I can compete for the rankings from the 7th to the 10th. In fact, I could have broken through to the vision divine stage long ago, but I have been stuck at the peak of the blue underworld realm because I wanted to lay a good foundation and cultivate a divine grade battle body. If the creation pageant is held a year later, I am confident that I can reach the vision divine stage and condense a divine grade battle body within a year. Divine grade battle body. Spiritual Master Ziyuan couldn't help but gasp when he heard these few words. He carefully sized up Tsinghui, and indeed felt a vast and profound aura from Tsinghui. Although he was at the peak of the blue netherworld realm, he was undoubtedly much stronger than ordinary peak blue netherworld realm experts. A genius. This was a true prodigy of the heavens. It would be a waste if such a genius was not accepted into the sect. If Your Excellency Dong Yang really wants to participate in the Fortune Grand Banquet, it's not impossible. However, would Your Excellency please come with me to the Purple Cloud Palace? Tsinghui nodded. The strongest experts in the Purple Cloud Palace were the few transcendent realm experts. Due to the lack of trade between the Fortune Continent and the Heaven Wasteland world, there weren't many divine weapons on the Fortune Continent. With the help of the 9th grade flying sword, even if he encountered danger in the Purple Cloud Palace, he could rely on the divine technique to force his way out. I'm just about to visit the Sea family at the Purple Cloud Palace to ask about these mysterious runes. Alright, let's not delay any longer. When we arrive at the Purple Cloud Palace, I'll definitely give Your Excellency a satisfactory answer. Chapter 298. The Purple Cloud Palace seemed to have received Sage Ziyuan's message in advance. When he brought Tsinghui to the Purple Cloud Palace, there were already a dozen people waiting in the main hall. Among these people, there were 6 saint stage experts who had cultivated true essence, and the remaining 11 were all figures at the peak of the immortality stage at the Vision Saint stage. This kind of momentum was comparable to any of the 10 great saint sects in the Eastern Wilderness. As Sage Ziyuan brought Tsinghui to the main hall, almost everyone's eyes fell on Tsinghui. If it were not for the fact that Qing Su possessed a divine technique, cultivated God-grade true Qi himself, and wielded a Class 9 flying sword flowing fire, he probably would have lost his composure and panicked under the gazes of several true energy, and over a dozen Vision Saint experts. Greetings, Palace Master. Greetings, Elders. The Reverend Ziyuan walked up and bowed to everyone politely before saying to Qing Su, Sir Dongyang, this is the Palace Master of our Purple Cloud Palace, Palace Master Xiang Hong. These are the Elders of our Purple Cloud Palace, Xiang Meng, Reverend Zihao, Reverend Ziming, Reverend Tongyan, Reverend Hellfire. Sage Ziyuan introduced them one by one. Although he was only at the Green Underworld stage, based on his name, and the fact that he was able to become the dean of a branch academy, his own seniority and background were extraordinary. Therefore, he did not appear to be too servile in front of the few true energy stage elders. Junior Brother Ziyuan, is this the young talent you want to introduce to our Purple Cloud Palace? I heard that Your Excellency Dongyang wants to attain a divine grade battle body. Can you let us see? Sage Zihao, one of the 6 true essence realm experts, could not wait to ask. Your Excellency Dongyang. Sage Ziyuan turned to Tsinghui, and Tsinghui nodded. Immediately, the aura of a peak blue netherworld realm expert appeared above his head, and the pressure of a divine beast bloodline rolled out. The true essence realm elders were better off, but the dozen or so prominent saint stage experts were aghast, especially Sage Ziyuan, who was standing beside Xinghui. He could not help but take 10 steps back as he looked at Xinghui, who was exuding a vast aura, with a shocked expression. The Golden Crow. It's the bloodline of the Golden Crow Divine Beast. Such a powerful Golden Crow Divine Beast has great hope of attaining a divine-grade battle body. Sage Hellfire's eyes flashed as he looked at Xinghui with a hint of battle intent. He had awakened the bloodline of the Hellflame Beast. Although it was merely a spiritual beast, he was still a cultivator of the fire lineage. Now that he saw the Golden Crow, the overlord of fire, he naturally wanted to see what was so special about it. It's really amazing. It's extremely difficult for our 6 supreme sects to cultivate such an outstanding disciple. I didn't expect that today. Anything is possible for the Son of Chaos. That's right. With the Chaos Divine Hall, as long as the Son of Chaos can establish a relationship with an important figure, that person will be in a good mood and give him some guidance. It won't be difficult for him to cultivate to such a level. The true energy realm elders studied Qing Su, and they were filled with envy. However, Xiang Meng's eyes flashed as he said to Palace Master Xiang Hong, "Could he be a spy sent by another faction?" "A spy? How is that possible? If he's only shown that he has the potential to cultivate a saint-grade battle physique, then he might be a spy. However, a cultivator who has the potential to cultivate a divine-grade battle physique is extremely precious in any sect. He will definitely be groomed as a future sect master. Sending such a disciple to another sect as a spy, those sect masters wouldn't do such a thing even if they were stupid," Xiang Hong said with a smile. Xiang Meng pondered for a moment and found that to be reasonable. The young man named Dong Yang was so talented that it was impossible for those supreme sects to send him as a spy. It was just like when 2 countries were at war. Even if it was somewhat despicable, they would never send their crown prince to spy in the other country's territory. Investigate this person's background carefully. If there's nothing suspicious, we have to keep him in the Purple Cloud Palace no matter what. Xiang Hong made up his mind. Ziyuan Taoist spoke up again. His Excellency Dong Yang possesses an item with 4 Taoist rhythms. However, he wishes to study the Fortune Jade and learn immortal arts and combat arts from it. What is the decision of the elders and palace lords? 4 Taoist rhymes, huh? The Fortune Continent's Taoist rhymes were precious, and Xiang Hong didn't want to miss out on it. After pondering for a moment, he said bluntly, "Dong Yang, if you're willing to offer up the item with 4 Taoist rhymes, I can give you a chance to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. If you can stand out in the Fortune Grand Gathering, you'll have half the time to comprehend the Fortune Jade regardless of your ranking. What do you think?" Palace Master, each sect can only send 1 person to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. Headquarters has already decided on the participants. Sage Ziyuan said, "Don't worry, I have my own plans. Don't forget that the Purple Cloud Palace has secretly supported several sects over the years. Those sects have a heritage of more than 1,000 years, but because they don't have enough Taoist rhymes and Sons of Chaos, they don't qualify to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. We already have the item with Taoist rhymes, but as for the Sons of Chaos," Palace Master Xiang Hong's gaze fell on Xinghui. "There's already one here." There were 3 qualifications to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. A sect with a heritage of 1,000 years, a Taoist rhyme item with 10 Taoist rhymes, and a Son of Chaos. A Son of Chaos. In the entire Fortune mainland, there were very few Sons of Chaos, less than a third of the Eastern Wilderness. According to the statistics provided by Tian 1, there were less than 200 Sons of Chaos on the Fortune mainland. One had to know that the Fortune Grand Gathering required 100 sects to contribute 10 Taoist rhymes, and there were less than 200 Sons of Chaos. It was easy to imagine how difficult it would be to divide the Sons of Chaos among 100 sections. Therefore, even though many sects had nurtured powerful geniuses, had a heritage of 1,000 years, and had accumulated enough Taoist rhymes, they couldn't qualify to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering, because they didn't have a Son of Chaos. This method is feasible. The elders looked at each other and nodded. Dong Yang, Are you willing to join the Purple Cloud Palace and become a member of the Purple Cloud Palace? When Xiang Hong saw this, his gaze fell on Xinghui, and he asked solemnly. The Purple Cloud Palace is one of the 6 supreme sects of the Fortune mainland. It is Dong Yang's fortune to be able to cultivate in the Purple Cloud Palace. Good. Xiang Hong nodded with satisfaction. However, since you want to comprehend the mysteries of the Fortune Jade and use its power to comprehend immortal arts, you can't participate in the sect's ceremony during this period. You can't even be recorded in the disciple register and go to the Pillar of Heaven's Mountain's headquarters to pay a visit to the sect master and the various ancestors. After all, you should know that a sect only allows one disciple to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. This is an ironclad rule that none of the 6 supreme sects can violate. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, it could lead to an all-out war like 3,000 years ago, resulting in countless casualties. Everything will have to wait until the Fortune Grand Gathering is over. I will follow the sect's arrangements. Xinghui said, then asked, when will the Fortune Grand Gathering be held? It has been more than 10 years since the last time the Fortune Grand Gathering was held. According to the original plan, it will be held in the 8th month of next year, which is 10 months later. However, you have not broken through to the prominent divine stage. Even if your foundation is strong, it will not be easy for you to enter the top 10 before it can be converted into battle strength. Therefore, we can send a message to the headquarters and ask them to postpone the Fortune Grand Gathering by 1 or 2 months. This is a small matter that can be done with the Purple Cloud Palace's face, but you have to promise that you will step into the prominent divine stage within a year. Otherwise, don't blame us for not waiting for you. Please rest assured, Palace Master. I will definitely break through and condense the Golden Crow divine body within a year. Xinghui said confidently. Good, I believe you. Since you are now a member of our Purple Cloud Palace, as long as you make contributions, you will be able to obtain many immortal arts and secret treasures from our Purple Cloud Palace. If you want to obtain these contributions, you can do things for the sect or complete the tasks assigned by the elders. You can also turn in heavenly treasures, divine abilities, immortal arts, and secret cultivation techniques. As long as I make enough contributions, I will be able to obtain many immortal arts and secret treasures. Xinghui's heart stirred. Even Tian, an experienced and knowledgeable cultivator from the Heavenly Secret Pavilion, highly praised the immortal arts and secret treasures of the Fortune Grand Gathering mainland, claiming that they had endless magical uses before breaking through to the Almighty Realm. Xinghui was naturally very curious. However, immortal arts and secret treasures were often in the hands of the supreme sects and first-rate sections. It was not easy to obtain them. Xinghui had always wanted to see them, but now that he had such an opportunity, he really did not want to miss it. After weighing the pros and cons, Xinghui said bluntly, I am willing to offer my cultivation technique to Palace Master and Elders. I wonder if it is considered a contribution. Hearing Xinghui's words, Palace Master Xiang Hong, Spiritual Master Zi Ming, Spiritual Master Zi Hao, and the other elders were overjoyed. They hurriedly asked, your cultivation technique? Since you can cultivate divine-grade true qi, and there is hope for you to condense a divine-grade battle physique, your cultivation technique must be extraordinary. If you are willing to offer it, it can be considered a great contribution. My cultivation technique is the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. There are 6 stages in total. Palace Master and Elders, please take a look. Xinghui directly took out the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Great Sun Golden Crow technique? I wonder how it compares to the Great Sun Divine Palace's Great Sun Illuminating World technique. Quick, let me take a look. Xiang Hong and the other elders quickly took the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that Xinghui had engraved with his spiritual force and began to comprehend it. Great Sun Illuminating World technique. Xinghui's heart skipped a beat when he heard the elders mention this supreme technique of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Compared to the Torch Dragon bloodline, there were more than 10 cultivation techniques for the Golden Crow bloodline, and the Great Sun Illuminating World technique was one of them. However, the Great Sun Golden Crow technique was more proficient in the cultivation of true qi and the Golden Crow divine body. The derived secret techniques, such as the Crimson Crow Soul and the Eternal Blazing Sun, could not be used directly in battle. However, the Great Sun Illuminating World technique was more proficient in attacking and killing. If he could obtain the Great Sun Illuminating World technique and comprehend the method of using true qi to attack, he might be able to get rid of the drawback of having only one attack method and make the Golden Crow bloodline stronger in terms of combat strength. Chapter 299. This Great Sun Golden Crow technique is indeed mysterious. Eternal Blazing Sun? Cultivating the Great Sun Golden Crow technique can actually condense such a treasure. One Eternal Blazing Sun is equivalent to a full-powered attack of a divine body manifestation expert. If 10 Eternal Blazing Suns are used together, even a true energy realm expert will die. If one can have thousands of Eternal Blazing Suns, destroying a dozen Supreme Sage sects is not an extravagant hope. Stones from other mountains can be used to polish jade. This Great Sun Golden Crow technique may not have any powerful killing techniques recorded, but it is very inspiring in many aspects, especially in condensing the Golden Crow battle body. It is simply blessed by the heavens. No wonder Dong Yang is so confident that he can cultivate the divine grade Golden Crow battle body. The elders of the Purple Cloud Palace spent less than an hour to roughly comprehend the mystery of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and they all sighed. At the same time, the elders and the other prominent divine stage experts looked at Xing Hui in a completely different way. Since Xing Hui could contribute his cultivation technique to the sect without hesitation, it was obvious that he was not a spy of other sections. Perhaps he was not completely loyal to the sect, but it was enough to prove that he did not come to the Purple Cloud Palace with the purpose of harming them. Otherwise, why would he contribute such a powerful cultivation technique to strengthen the foundation of the Purple Cloud Palace? Xiang Hong, as the Palace Lord of the Purple Cloud Palace, naturally had to show his magnanimity of fair rewards and punishments to win over a genius disciple like Xing Hui with unlimited potential. He waved his hand and said, "Dong Yang, you have contributed a great merit by contributing such a divine grade cultivation technique. I will allow you to enter the Sutra Pavilion and choose any 3 immortal techniques or treasure refining techniques to cultivate. In addition, to ensure your safety, I will also allow you to go to the outer treasury of the Purple Cloud Palace to choose an item as a reward. It can be a treasure of heaven and earth, a material for refining treasures, or a finished secret treasure. You can choose any one of them." "Thank you, Palace Lord. Well, I will let Elder Zihao take you to the Sutra Pavilion and the outer treasury in a while. But before that, you have to discuss the following matters. Do you want to choose your own place for seclusion, or let the sect arrange it for you?" "It would be best if the sect can help arrange it," Xing Hui said. Xiang Hong had a faint smile on his face. "All right, then you can go to Zhurong Peak and cultivate in seclusion. My Purple Cloud Palace secretly controls over a dozen sects, big and small. There are also 4 sects that are qualified to participate in the fortune gathering. However, these 4 sects can only go through the motions. You cultivate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, which is a supreme technique of the fire attribute. It's best for you to go to the Burning Sky sect where Zhurong Peak is located. When the time comes, I will arrange for you to enter the Burning Sky sect." The Burning Sky sect was his subordinate sect. Naturally, it was up to him to decide what to do. "Yes, Your Highness," Xing Hui said. Then he paused for a moment. "I still have some matters to discuss with the Sea family's deacons. I wonder, is it because of those mysterious runes? Our Purple Cloud Palace has studied those runes for thousands of years, but we still haven't figured out anything. Instead, because of our scattered efforts, the entire Sea family has gradually declined. Why do you want to waste your time on them like the Sea family? Dongyang, you should focus on cultivation now. Break through to the Vision Divine stage as soon as possible and cultivate a divine battle body. You only have 1 year at most. If you don't cultivate a divine battle body in this year, you won't have any advantage at the fortune gathering, Xiang Hong said in a serious tone. Please rest assured, Your Highness. I will not delay my cultivation because of those runes, Xing Hui said. In fact, he had the Golden Crow's soul essence and the Sunfall elixir. Once he took them and refined them, he would definitely be able to cultivate a divine battle body in 3 months. It was because of the teleportation technique. 1 year later, the teleportation spell would be off cooldown. When he obtained the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade at the Fortune Gathering, he would directly use the teleportation spell and bring the Fortune Divine Jade back to the Eastern Wilderness world. That was his real purpose. If he could accomplish this goal and figure out the meaning of those mysterious runes in the Dongyang Sword Sect's Ancestral Master Hall, it would be great. Alright, since you were able to cultivate to this level, I believe that you are someone who has a clear plan for your path of cultivation. It's enough that you know what you are doing. I will arrange for people to assist you in your daily life in the palace. Thank you, Your Highness. Go and choose the celestial skills and treasures you need first. Yes, come with me, Perfected Zihao said. Then he led Xing Hui out of the hall and into the mountain. After Xing Hui and Perfected Zihao left the hall, Xiang Hong and the others immediately started a discussion. Elders and deacons, what do you think of Dongyang? Dongyang is able to cultivate divine-grade true qi and has a high chance of condensing a divine-grade battle physique. A supreme sect would definitely not be willing to take the risk of sending such a talented seedling to another sect. Furthermore, he did not hesitate to contribute his cultivation method. It is clear that he has coincidentally obtained the inheritor of a son of chaos. This kind of thing has happened before on the Fortune mainland, but for safety's sake, we should go to the Nanjiao Kingdom to investigate his background. Perfected Ziming said. I agree with Purple Ming's spiritual master. A cultivator who has the potential to condense a divine-grade battle body, and a cultivator who has condensed an ordinary battle body, are 2 different concepts. An ordinary battle body is not worth mentioning in front of a divine-grade battle body. A cultivator with a divine-grade battle body only needs to master powerful battle skills to end the battle quickly. It is not difficult for him to defeat a true energy realm elder. That's right. We can't give up such a good seedling just like that. After observing him for a few years and making sure that he has no ill intentions towards our Purple Cloud Palace, we will send him to the Pillar of Heaven's mountains and let the Grand Elders teach him personally. The other elders nodded in agreement. Xiang Hong also had the same idea. Very well, we will observe him carefully for a year or 2. If there is no problem, I will personally take him to the Pillar of Heaven's mountains to visit the ancestors. While Palace Master Xiang Hong, Taoist Hellfire, Taoist Tongyan, and the others were discussing the arrangements for Xing Hui, Xing Hui himself was led by Zihao to the Purple Cloud Palace's Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. The Hidden Scriptures Pavilion was an important place of the Purple Cloud Palace. Xing Hui's appearance in the mysterious cave earlier had alarmed the experts of the Purple Cloud Palace. At that time, several auras of transformative realm experts had shot up into the sky. One of them had come from the direction of the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. It was obvious that there was a transformative realm expert guarding this place. However, with Reverend Zihao personally leading the way this time, everything was calm. Our Purple Cloud Palace possesses a total of 149 immortal techniques of various sizes. Among the 149 immortal techniques, there are 92 ordinary immortal techniques, 38 high-level immortal techniques, and 9 supreme immortal techniques. As for treasure refinement techniques, there are a total of 44 types that can be used to refine various secret treasures. However, regardless of whether it's an immortal technique or a treasure refinement technique, the higher the grade the better. Instead, it has to be suitable for you, so you have to act according to your abilities. Let's use the treasure refinement technique as an example. A very long time ago, we comprehended a supreme treasure refinement technique from there. It can be refined into a Tai Chi diagram. It's said that it's so powerful that it can quell the might of earth, water, fire, and wind, and transform the power of yin, yang, and the 5 elements. However, the materials required to refine the Tai Chi diagram are extremely harsh, so no one has managed to comprehend it in over 1,000 years. It has always been stored in our Purple Cloud Palace's scripture pavilion. If you choose that treasure refinement technique, you'll be wasting a precious opportunity. Tai Chi diagram. Xing Hui could not help but be stunned. Divine Jade of Fate? Tai Chi diagram. Suppress the power of earth, water, fire, and wind and transform yin, yang, and the 5 elements? What was going on? The one that suits you is the best. You can go now. Don't stay too long. Yes. Xing Hui answered and stepped into the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Since there were less than 200 immortal arts and treasure refining techniques in the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion, the space inside was not big enough. Thus, Xing Hui was not overwhelmed. He stood at the door for a moment and took the lead to go to the treasure refining technique area. There were 44 treasure refining techniques in the Purple Cloud Palace. Among these 44 treasure refining techniques, there were only 20 that could be used to refine treasures. Moreover, it was said that the effects of the refined treasures were much worse than those described above. They were almost equivalent to simplified versions. Invisible Dragon Rod, Flying Smoke Sword, Golden Light File, 100 Spirits Banner, Plague Umbrella, Luapa Mirror, Air Frozen Bead, 1,000 Crow Pot Tai Chi Diagram, 9 Dragons Divine Fire Shield Sweeping Clouds Robe. Xing Hui glanced at them one by one. He saw that the treasures refined by these treasure refining techniques had all kinds of strange effects, and their effects were completely different. Some could set up plagues and destroy a country. Some could shake people's souls and scatter their souls. There were even those that contained divine fire that could refine all living beings. However, without exception, they were extremely powerful. Moreover, what surprised Xing Hui the most was that these treasures were very familiar to him. They seemed to be some of the top treasures in the ancient myths and legends of Earth. In a trance, the myths seemed to reflect into reality. Could it be that the legends of Earth's ancient myths and legends really exist? There are many top treasures, endless divine powers, and the so-called saints, golden immortals and great divines? Xing Hui muttered to himself. After a long while, he slowly put down the 44th treasure refining technique that could refine the dragon binding rope and walked toward the many immortal arts in the sutra depository. Immortal arts of all sizes once again appeared in his mind one by one. Steel Finger, River Drawing, Soldiers Casting, Cloud Riding, Stone Turning to Gold, Clairvoyant Eye, Clairaudient Eye, Wind Controlling, Fog Spreading, Inedia False Form, Aura Gazing, 5 Ghosts Transporting, Spirit Controlling. All kinds of immortal arts and divine powers flashed before Xing Hui's eyes one by one. Some of the great immortal arts could be called mysterious, but some of the ordinary ones were really useless. For example, Wind Controlling was just controlling the wind. There was also Fog Spreading, which was just summoning fog. In addition, there was Inedia, which could prevent people from eating for dozens of days. Although these immortal arts were simple, they were not useless. Sometimes, if used well, they could produce incredible effects. For example, if one was being chased by an enemy, it would be much easier to escape if he summoned a fog that spread hundreds of kilometers in the void. There was also the wind controlling technique, which could also summon a gust of wind to block the cultivator chasing after him and greatly reduce his speed. As spiritual master Zaheo said, immortal arts were not weak or strong, but how they were used. When used properly, these immortal arts would be more effective than the sword techniques and secret techniques that were circulated in Heaven Wasteland domain. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.